everyday quick foundation minimal makeup routine. So that way, if you guys have any questions, like Kyaunna said, you guys can just drop them in the comments, and as soon as we're done, I'll let you guys know. It could be any comments regarding like what products I'm using and all that good stuff. So like I said, I've been doing makeup for about 7 years. It all started back in high school. I started off doing paintings and drawings for pretty much all of my friends, and then it eventually transferred onto my face once my mom felt it was like I was old enough to actually play in makeup. So I started playing in makeup, and that summer, I believe it was my senior year of high school, my cousin from Europe came to spend the summer with us, and we were playing in makeup. I did her makeup, and it all started with, why don't you do everybody else's makeup? I'm personally way too, I don't want to say shy, because those of you who really know me, you know, I love people, but it takes me a little while to warm up to people. So at this time, there was only, I believe, 2 other people that were really doing makeup, and I didn't want to feel like I was stepping on anybody's toes or anything like that. So I went ahead and I just made the Instagram page and call it a day. I was like, whatever happens, happens. And now here we are, 7 years later. I plan on opening my spa within the next 2 years. I'm currently in school for aesthetics, so I can offer more services to you guys. And that's how we all started. So now that you guys know the background of me and what I do, I'm just gonna get into the gist of how I do my quick, full, I don't really want to say full, but kind of like no makeup look. So right now I'm just going in with a primer, and this is just the Professional Matte Primer. It just blurs everything out and makes your skin look absolutely smooth. And now I'm going to go in with my Beauty Blender. I personally like to wet it with setting spray. I feel like it prolongs the look and just makes it, gives it more of a natural finish. And I like to go in with my finger and dot it all over my face. If I'm with a client, I usually do this with a stippling brush, just to make sure that I have even coverage everywhere. So now I just go in and just blend it everywhere. I did do my eyebrows off camera before anyone asked, just because I am going to be doing an eyebrow tutorial on my Instagram live very soon. I'm just trying to figure out the perfect setup for all that good stuff. So I'm just go ahead and blending down. Make sure to always blend down your neck. And usually with my eyebrows, it will take me, I honestly want to say 10 minutes the most. And that's just on a bad day. We all have days where we just can't get it together. So I go in and I just quickly do that. Now I go in with the concealer. My nephew's here now too, guys. So excuse my background noise. You should see them at the door. Because the whole time that's like cheesy. We didn't let me know somebody was here, so I was like, oh. Alright guys, so now I go in with the concealer shade. Just about 2 shades later, I like the brighten look. I really just like looking glowy and like healthy, if that makes sense. It's a perfect everyday wearable look to wherever you want to go. So I love to start off under my eyes. I thought it was okay. Bye. So while I'm doing this, I look absolutely crazy. But that's the part. You're gonna look crazy until everything's all done. So I go ahead, blend everything in. with the Beauty Blender. I always make sure, like I said, that the blender is wet, and if you're wetting it with the setting spray, it just helps lock in things a little bit more. I'm just going to show you guys how quick it can be to do your makeup. And still with a nice natural looking finish. So for me, I have oily skin. When it comes to makeup, you always want to take into consideration what skin tone, what skin type you have, shall I say. Everybody always asks, what's your favorite for this? What's your favorite for that? This could be my favorite, but it's my favorite because it works for my skin. You always want to use a product that is good for your skin type. So since I am a combination skin, I'm oily in my T-zone, dry everywhere else. I only set in my T-zone, which will be under my eyes, my chin area, and my forehead. And wherever I just put the concealer, now I'm done. Now I'm just gonna bring a little bit of life back into my face with some bronzer. And I'm using the BH Cosmetics contour palette. I love BH Cosmetics. They're extremely affordable, and they have great quality brushes and palettes. So you go in, bring some life right back into my face. And if you can kind of see the difference, just what that little bit does. I like to look like a nice glazed, warm honey bun donut. So I like to go a little bit warmer than everything. Just a tad. I'm a summer baby. I can't help it, you guys. I love the sun. I love the heat, warmth, everything. So I'm just going in to where the shadows on my face would usually hit. And I am contouring my forehead just a little bit more because it's a 5-head. We all got big foreheads. So going in like that. Don't forget to blend down on your neck as well. Perfect. So now just to bring a little bit more life back into my face. Let's see. Do I want to do that? I don't think I'm going to do that today. I'm going to go in and line my lips. This is literally what I would do. Honestly, I don't wear makeup every day. I'm the laziest person when it comes to makeup to myself. I love creating my work on others. Like, I love getting down in the little creases on everybody else's face, but when it comes to me, you hardly catch me wearing makeup. But if there's days where I have to, this is my quick go-to because I don't have the patience for myself. I save it all for my clients. So I'm going ahead and just lining my lips. This is like my signature go-to. I just use a nice natural brown liner. And just outline my lips and just dab it in just to blend it out a little bit more. To bring some life back into my face. And once that is done, I like to go in with my tiny little highlighting precision brush. This is the perfect to get right under in your eyebrows, on your cupid's bow, wherever you feel like you want to get it concentrated. Like I said, I like to personally glow. So I'm just gonna get right in here, and I do wet my brush when it comes to the highlight, and I tap it right in there. Just because I feel as if wetting the brush, it kind of makes it easier to melt into your skin versus just putting the powder right on top. And if you can just see, it kind of looks like it gives me a little lifted look. I'm gonna do the same thing right on this side. Also gonna use this right on my cupid's bow. I always highlight right here, especially if you have thinner lips. If you highlight the top of your lips, it gives it just a little bit more zhuzh. I'm just gonna do this. So now, before I continue to highlight, I am going to set my entire face now. And this is before mascara and all the good stuff. And when I say set your face, I low-key mean drown yourself. I personally, in my opinion, I feel like it makes everything melt into your skin and just gives it the most natural effect. And you would think I'm done like setting my face, but that was just round one. Just a heads up. My clients know the deal. Like, I just can't help it, you guys. So go in with the brush again. And this is just gonna intensify the highlight. There we go. The before, it's just me. The glow. And this, I am using the Beauty Creations Floral Bloom Highlight and Contour Palette. I got this in my certification class last year. This is actually my second one because I love it so much. I put pan on all the highlighters. And I like to go in with like a nice frosty looking one just to give me that wet skin look. Like I said, I love the dewy look. I feel like it just brings everything together. And I love to highlight just the top of my brows just to give it the glow. And whatever's left over, just fix in the center of your face. Now I'm gonna go in and just set my face one more time. Final time, I promise. And I'm going to go in with my lips. And for my lips, I love using a plumping lip gloss. I just love the oomph, but I love the extraness. So I just go right in on top. I forgot one more trick that I like to do, just to brighten up the look just a little teeny bit more. I do like to go in with a little bit of highlight in the center of my eyes, just to, like I said, give it that wet look. And now for the final touch, mascara. And go ahead and just apply. Your mascara. The difference a mascara makes is absolutely wild. Even if you don't have lashes, of course, I got some here, but I'll tell you guys a trick to get that off in 2 seconds. Just a little bit of mascara and liner definitely can go a long way. And I always like to do mascara last, just because since you've set everything in place, if things like this happen, it's easier to get it off. You just go ahead and let it dry while you do your thing. Okay, and I love to do my bottom lashes as well. I like the doll look effect. Okay. And now for my quick tip on how to get pesky mascara messes off. Q-tip, wait for it to dry, dab and turn, dab and turn, dab and turn. And that is it. So this is my quick, I want to say, honestly, 15-minute look for my everyday quick out the door if I have to look presentable anywhere. And that is all. So now I will answer some questions. Let me clean my hands first before I get this all over the place.
Raina, do you want me to read them or you want to read them?
Let's see. I'm trying to figure out how I can read all of them. Oh, there we go. So I see the questions that you guys have. All right. So what is my favorite foundation? My favorite foundation, honestly, are the Fit Me foundations. I really like these foundations because I feel like they have a great range as for color. They do last all day. I really catch myself touching up, and they're great for all skin types. They are amazing. And the best part is they're under $6 if you get them at Walmart too. Don't go to CVS, you'll pay double the price. So that was question 1. Actually, it might be easier if you read them. Now I'm figuring out how to get back to it.
Oh, hold on, okay?
Yes.
Get back to it. Chat. All right, so we're gonna scroll up. Let's see what question. All right, so you answered the foundation.
Yes.
So, do you do makeup for multimedia productions such as photo shoots, music videos, or talk shows?
Yes, I do. I do all types of makeup. I specialize in bridal makeup, photography makeup. I'm dabbling right now into editorial and more FX makeup. Because my sister does, well, my god sister does a lot of that. We work together on a lot of projects. But right now, more like bridal, Instagram, everyday photography and makeup. Those are mainly my focus right now.
Ooh, sounds good.
Yes.
All right. Do you use the same beauty blender for everything?
Yeah. Yes. If you have a beauty blender, use it for literally everything. Like, I don't even like. I can't. Now that I think about it, I could probably do my whole entire face with my beauty blender. It's one of my go-to tools. So I would say, yeah, I definitely do use my beauty blender for majority of my routine for all of it.
Okay.
And the one I use, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
The one I use, this one is from shopmissa.com. I love that website. It's only $1.50, and this is the best beauty blender I ever use. It expands, it doesn't absorb much product, and it's super, super soft. It's not like hard like some other beauty blenders are. So it's very good.
Okay. Eva, were you asking what's the name of the tiny angle brush? Oh, Eva, hold on. I gotta.
Yes, that's what I was asking.
This one right here that I was using for like my highlight.
Yes.
Where did I got this from shopmissa.com too. I believe this one came, no, it didn't. This one didn't come in a set. It did come by itself. You can find it under mini fan brush, or they have a kit where they have like a longer one. I like the travel size one just because I like to use it in small areas. But shopmissa.com, just mini fan brush.
Good to know. And do you mind showing us the highlight palette again?
I do not.
Whoa.
So it's called the Floral Bloom Highlight and Contour by Beauty Creations. And this is it. Clearly you guys can see that I love it. Like I've hit pan on this twice. This is why I bought this palette again. But this one has mainly been my favorite. But I love this because you can use this on almost any complexion, and I like mixing these two. So Beauty Creations Highlight and Contour Palette.
Ooh, okay. What would you suggest for people with sensitive skin? What should they use, like makeup wise?
As for makeup, it depends on sensitive skin and like, are you sensitive as in like fragrance, or is it like acne prone sensitive? It all depends on exactly like what skin type you have. Like I said, I do like the Fit Me ones because they are good for all skin types, and they do have versions that are dewy and matte, and I believe they are hypoallergenic as well, so they don't usually cause breakouts. Other than that, I'm just gonna vouch for the Fit Me because I go back to these constantly. I've been using these for years.
Yeah.
Always find myself going back to them.
Okay.
Just make sure when it comes to skin that even before you look for any makeup that you're using the right products, like you're making sure that you're using the right moisturizer for your skin, you're using the right toner, the right eye creams, because if you're not taking care of your skin under, it doesn't matter what you put on top of it, it's still not going to give you the results that you're looking for.
That is true. All right. That is all the questions. Does anybody have more questions? Everyone is unmuted. So does anyone else have questions?
What do you recommend for people with eczema?
With eczema, I definitely recommend to use a hydrating base, especially because you don't want to cause more irritation and dryness to the skin. So anything that's hydrating and soothing. I like hydrolonic acid with aloe for like a toner, just for like a prep for the skin, just to give it a little bit of like a quench. And this is my baby right here. It's a hydrating face serum with hyaluronic acid. I use this every makeup routine. Like I said, I'm oily in my T-zone and more dry out here. You just want to make sure you're very, very hydrated. So I recommend going in with a hydrating base, an oil, a nice moisturizer, and anything that's not overly drying. You want to stay away from matte products, especially like matte foundations, because then they will tend to flare up and flake out the skin and go deeper into your pore lines and your cracks and all that good stuff.
Any more questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
What's up?
So my question is going back to the multimedia question, because you mentioned you did bridal makeup and all that stuff.
Yes.
My question is, when you're doing makeup, obviously you're doing it for women. Do you do it for the men as well?
Yes, I do. I've actually had a wedding party where I did do the groom. He had a couple of stress breakouts and was freaking out more than the bride, so I did have to go down and touch him up. And I had to end up touching up one of the other men too, just because the night before he didn't get much sleep, ended up hurting himself. So we had to do a little bit of cover up for them too. So I've only done that twice. I have done it for guys. A lot of guys are kind of scared because they're just like, it's makeup. But more grooms are open to it. But I would say grooms and models are probably the only people who understand that makeup on men's skin is like, okay, and it's not a problem because they understand it's for the picture purposes. But I do men's makeup as well. It's rare right now, but whoever's open to letting me try, you know, give you a nice glow.
Okay. Any more? She's here.
Nope.
Put her IG in the chat. So if you're not already following Raina, please follow her. If you have any questions later, I'm sure you can ask her.
You can ask me anytime. Hop in the DMs, whatever you guys gotta ask. This was fun. I definitely enjoyed doing this with you guys. I'm more comfortable. I was definitely nervous in the beginning, but this was definitely great. It was fun.
You did it, and you look beautiful. I was a little hesitant. Thanks, like, let me see how she's about to do this.
I tell everybody, I'm like, it always looks good at the end.
Yeah. Okay. All right, cool. Well, thank you once again. Can we just give a little clap? I know we're not together, but just clap. Take a lot. You did awesome. All right, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna go with our cosmetologist by Jaws. That's what she goes by on Instagram. And I just want to let everyone know before she gets started that we are recording. I am recording this, if that's okay. If y'all a little scary on it, you'll be all right. This is the new thing now, okay?
Just blur out my face, all right?
Blur out your face. I don't even know how I plan to share this because I haven't used any videos from Zoom, so we can brainstorm that later. But I do plan to have it out there so you guys can see, okay? But we're gonna keep going and welcome Jaws. And remember, all questions are at the end through the chat, whether you want to type them out or I'll unmute everyone for you to ask her after she's done, all right? All right, take the floor.
Hey guys, how are you? This is Jaws.
unmute you. Uh-oh.
I have my own company called By Jaws LLC. I am a traveling stylist, celebrity braider, and I specialize in multi-textured hair. So long story short, we're in quarantine and everyone's struggling right now, either with hair care, self-understanding, self-awareness, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I purposely did not wear makeup today, although Raina, you look amazing. Good job. It was a pleasure hearing your story and how you came about. But I didn't wear any makeup today and I didn't do my hair on purpose because I like to be very transparent when I am teaching, and I want you guys to always see the before and afters, and also get a clear understanding of a lot of things. More so than ever in the last 2 years, I've become more of a hair care specialist, and I think it's the high demand in, a lot of people don't understand their texture. A lot of people don't understand how hair works, how just like your skin needs lotion, your hair also does need nurture. And it doesn't matter skin tone, it doesn't matter hair, we all need a certain regimen. And that's where I come in, and I like to make the, introduce the breakdown. So what I decided on teaching today was a little bit about self-care and self-awareness, along with hair care, right? So stress, alopecia, hair loss, hair conditions, all those things are real things. I'm someone who actually has suffered from hair stress alopecia myself, which is when your stress levels are so high, your body has a reaction and you literally start losing hair. I've not only lost my actual scalp hair, but I've actually even lost eyebrow hair. I don't know if you guys can tell, but literally going through it. And a lot of stress is caused from being out of control, which is what a lot of people are experiencing right now during quarantine. For me personally, it's not so much I'm stressing because I don't know what's happening. I think it's just, again, we're all kind of conforming to the new norm, right? But in terms of hair, I know what to do because I know exactly how to heal this, right? Which I can explain a little bit more further later, and I can also introduce you to a few other forms and information that I have provided for it. But I want you guys to truly take away today the idea of transitioning, right? So when you're transitioning, there's two aspects to it. There's the mental part, and then there's the physical part. The mental part takes time, right? Because you're used to seeing yourself in a certain way, and as time goes on, you're like dying to yourself and being introduced to a new version of yourself. You're used to seeing yourself beautiful in a certain type of way, and now you're forced to see yourself beautiful in a different type of way. The physical part is inevitable because it happens regardless of whether you want it to or not. Especially right now during quarantine, you can't really go to a salon. There's not really anyone available. So you're very limited. Other than Google, you really don't know what to do. And then Google can only give you so much, right? So I want to talk a little bit today about hair oils, specifically about hair oils. We can talk about so many other things, but I want to talk about oils. It is the longest proven treatment that works on hair. And it doesn't matter what kind of hair you have. I think if it's not broken, don't fix it. Someone like myself, both my parents are cosmetologists. They were both they were both in the hair industry for over 30 years. Being grown up in a salon myself, like helping my parents out, it's like the oldest regiment in hair. And I think that when it comes down to it, you have to understand what the oil is, how it's used, when to apply it, when it's appropriate. So I want you guys to understand there's 3 basic oils that will always and forever work for your hair, no matter what you are, who you are, or what you're dealing with. The first one is jojoba oil. The second one is grapeseed. And the third one is avocado. And the reason being is because these 3 oils are the most diluted and your actual skin responds to the best. Any oil outside of that, they're meant to be used during specific regimens, depending what style you have and depending what you're dealing with in terms of scalp and hair conditions. These 3 oils actually absorb on your hair the best. Most people experience that once they use it, after a day or 2, they're like, I don't see it in my hair anymore. What's going on? It's actually because your scalp and your skin can absorb it more appropriately. Secondly, it's how to use it, right? So I want to give a few examples. This is Becky with the good hair, yes. And I want you guys to see very silk, very soft hair, right? What you have to do, especially this is someone who's color treated. If you have color treated hair, if you have chemically treated hair, if you're someone who has more silkier, softer hair, you are to apply your oils on the ends. Why? Because over time, your hair mats. your hair starts folding. And what oil does is it works as a general lubricator to actually separate your strands. So if these are all strands and you're applying oil, it keeps the strands from matting against one another. And that goes across the board for any texture. So when you're using it on softer textures, you should always keep it on the ends, because softer hair naturally produces more oil on the hair and it runs through the hair itself. So most people who have silky, softer hair, they experience that they have to wash their hair every day or every other day. And it's actually because of the amount of oil that the scalp naturally produces. To counteract that, try to wash your hair less amount of times, maybe stretch it out to 2 times, 3 times a week, because you are producing more oil at your scalp, and you can counteract that by actually using jojoba oil as a hot oil treatment on your scalp, and it will help balance out the oil buildup. Then you're dealing with more of a wavy, curly hair. This is more like my type of texture, and what I notice the most is the amount of frizz. That is due to the amount of product buildup that most people use. I don't know where the regimen came about, but most people think that the more on your first wash day, you're supposed to use this excessive amount of product, and as the days build up, refresh it with water. That is not true. You're actually supposed to use the least amount of product the first day you wash your hair, and as the days progress, you adjust to whatever it is that your hair needs. If you have a dry spot, if you have a healthy spot, whatever the case may be, you adjust to those spots. So with this type of hair, what I do is that this is her face. And on a section like this, yeah, I'm grabbing her hair like this. I don't have a mannequin stand right now. So in order for this hair, what I would do with the oils is I would apply it from mid strands to ends. That is because your scalp, yes, it produces some level of oil, but it doesn't produce as much as silky or softer hair. So by applying it at the mid strands to the ends, you're help lubricating the ends. And by the time your ends get nice and oily and actually sit in there, the oils from your scalp actually meet it. And then when we go into more of coily woven hair, more textured hair, you actually have to apply almost every day to every other day, even whether it's in a protective style or it's not in a protective style. What a protective style is literally exactly that, a style that you are putting in your hair to protect the integrity of your hair, number one, but number two, to help stretch out your hair, to help lubricate the hair better. Why? Because with more textured hair, if you notice, it's kind of like a slinky. Imagine a slinky. The more you stretch it out, the easier it is to apply hair. The more tight and shrinkage you're dealing with, it's harder to apply. So my recommendation, especially with more textured hair, is you always want to pre-stretch the hair. The smaller sections you work in, the better. So yes, it takes time, but that goes back to self-awareness and self-love. When you want to do better, you do better, right? So separating one time a week where you take care of yourself. Have a self-care day, take an hour or 2 for your hair. And then if you use the proper regimens, you can literally stretch that out to about a week and then do it again. Most of my clients who deal with more textured hair, I actually have them wash their hair maybe once every week and a half, 2 weeks at most. And for them, it works better. And when they're applying oils, they're actually sectioning it off and manipulating the oil in. Why? Because especially for coily and textured hair, you have what we call sebaceous glands. Everyone has sebaceous glands, but specifically for more textured and oily, specifically textured and coily hair, your scalp has another gland called the sebum gland. And in that sebum gland, that's where all your waxy oils are produced. Most people, especially if you are high in melanin, don't produce as much oil. This is why you actually experience dry scalp, you experience dryness, and you're not producing as much oil. It takes twice as much for your scalp to produce that oil. And on top of that, it takes twice as much for that hair to move down. When curly hair grows in, it actually grows out and then drops. It's not like silkier or more wavier hairs that it actually grows down. So when you're applying it, it takes more time for the general oils to move around your hair. So the more you section it off and manipulate it in, the better it is for you. So with all that being said, I just want to implement and also encourage everyone that when you are doing hair care, when you are dealing with self-awareness, it's really important to start with baby steps and then slowly progressing, right? We're not in control of every aspect of our hair. We're not in control of every aspect of our lives, but what you can do is start with small things, right? So what we eat, how we take care of ourselves, all those different things. And today I'm talking to you guys about oils. Oils are important. These are a few recommendations. And if you guys are all interested in more information and getting more out of, you know, more thorough information and stuff like that, I actually have a full-on informative session happening from May 21st to May 27th. And each day is catered to a different topic. I'm going to be talking about hair loss, hair conditions, protective styles, chemical treated hair, product knowledge, understanding your texture, understanding what products you should be looking for, which ones you should avoid. I'll also be having parent and child sessions where I'll be going through a full beginning and end session of how to properly do hair care, aftercare, style your hair, the whole nine. So stay tuned. Again, you can follow me at ByJawz, ByJawz. And you can start following me and stay tuned. Again, May 21st to the 27th. Every day I'll be going on at 5 p.m. And having this info session, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's clap for her, everybody, please. Clap, clap, clap.
Oh, dunk it. Your lips.
All
No,
right.
where's the packet?
Thank you so much. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Was like, oh, that's why our hair dries up so much.
Okay. Oh, and another thing before you answer, before you say the questions, one of the things I forgot to say is, especially if you're using protective styles with extensions, guys, understand that if you have synthetic hair, like extensions, they're made out of fibers. They just emulate hair. It's not actual hair. So if you notice that you have extensions in your hair and your hair naturally is drying out after like a week, and you can see the separation between both hairs, the synthetic hair and yours, it's actually because synthetic hair dries out the natural oils in your hair. So when you do have extensions, definitely run the oil through it, like finger comb it versus like putting it on your scalp, because you're actually clogging up your pores by putting the oil on your scalp. So definitely if you're dealing with protective styles, run it through the entire integrity of your hair versus just your scalp.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Wow.
Do you have any tips for growing a beard?
Yes. Take care of your hair. No, so I'm just saying. No, I'm like, take care of your hair. No, for growing beard, a lot of what happens is this skin is very different from your scalp skin, but just like your skin needs hydration and moisture and exfoliation, so does your scalp, right? So what happens with a lot of men who are growing out beards and it's really patchy, it's actually because you're not washing, conditioning, and doing hair care regimens beard regimens, on your actual face. One thing that I have a lot of my male clients do is I have them on a beard oil regimen where, depending on the texture of your beard, I have you use it a certain amount of times, certain amount of days, that, etc., etc. And then I have you actually wash and condition it every single time with a hot oil treatment. And what it does is, over time, you start realizing that the hair becomes softer, so it's easier to comb through. And a lot of the times that it's breaking and that it's not growing in properly, it's because of how dry and brittle the hair becomes. So when you actually put a comb or a brush through it, it actually is breaking. Like the hair's not strong enough. There's no protein buildup on it. There's no hydration buildup on it. So the hair becomes very sensitive and fatigued, and it starts breaking off over time. So the more you keep this regimen going, the better it is for you. And if you want more information on that, again, you can follow me. I actually sell my own concoction beard oils. I prepare also hair oils, and they're all made quarterly. So basically every 3 to 4 months, I create a brand new oil according to the climax and the time we're dealing with. And it's basically catered for that. So if you want more information, you can definitely contact me on ByJawz.
Ooh, we lit.
Yes, yes we are. How often would someone with silky hair have to apply oils?
I would honestly say at least once a week, maybe twice, if your hair is really brittle and dry, and if your hair is chemically treated, right? And by chemically treated, I mean if you have color in your hair. Sometimes if someone has just color on specific areas of their hair, I say run the oil there, because your hair is more processed there, right? And then another thing is that when you do have softer hair, right, I would use it as what we call oil for any hair across the board is a post treatment, meaning you're not supposed to clog it up, leave it for weeks at a time, and then like wash it. It's actually meant to be used as a treatment. So when you have silkier hair, run it more, again, just on your ends. Literally keep it within the last 2, maybe 3 inches of your hair. So then that way it doesn't break you out, or it doesn't clog up all this hair. And even when I'm wearing buns like this, like you see this frizz, I'll sometimes just grab a few drops and I'll just go like this on my bun. So I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm just kind of like finger running it through my hair so it sits on the surface of the hair.
Okay. And what were the main oils that you were naming?
Suggesting? So the 3 oils that I recommend, because you can literally use these year round, you can either use these individually or literally mix them in equal parts, is jojoba oil, grapeseed oil, and avocado oil. And make sure that they're 100% organic. Like, there's no concentration in it. If it has more than 2 ingredients, don't buy it. If you're going to a Kiki's, BSW, or any like local braiding hair store, please don't get it there. You want to go to either a holistic store, Whole Foods, and Amazon actually has a lot of good recommendations. Just make sure you read the reviews.
You're very informative, by the way, and a lot of people are saying the same.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Got another question. Where can you get the oils? I know you just said Amazon, but is there any you can only order online?
So I've gotten like an example, like the avocado oil, you can totally get that at like a Trader Joe's or Whole Foods. Okay. Even the grapeseed you can get there too. The jojoba oil is a little bit more difficult just because a lot of places don't sell it. I find that Amazon for like local users is the best one to get. But again, I would read the reviews and I would go there and get it too if it's more convenient. Right now, we can't really go to a lot of stores, so I would say try to get it off Amazon if possible. Just again, read the reviews.
True. And what about how are you giving out your own oil blend?
So so I have my page called By Jaws, but then I have my second page called By Jaws Products. And if you go there, you actually can order them in. Right now, I just my entire inventory for spring just went out on Wednesday, so I have nothing left for hair oils, but I still have beard oils, so those who need beard oils, you can still purchase them there. My summer oils for hair actually drop in 3 weeks, so literally starting for June 1st, I'll be having them, so you can still go in and just follow the page, and as things come about, you'll actually get the updates. Perfect. But for now, if you need to get oils, Amazon.
Okay. I think that's all the questions in the chat. Cool. Does anybody else have anything they want to ask? No? Cool. Well, like I said, you were very—
There's a lot of information. I know. Sorry I overwhelmed y'all. Hope it helps.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. I hope everyone's enjoying this. This is a lot of fun. But we're going to keep it going. We have a tattoo artist. Ooh. Shout out to all the tattoo artists. You can't see mine, but you don't want to see it anyways. It's just Tweety in my name. But she goes by the name of Selena. I'm going to let her take the floor. Thanks again, everyone, for being here. All right, Selena, let me, I think you're muted, so hold on. Unmute. Oh, you got to unmute yourself.
All right. Thanks, Kyaunna.
No problem.
All right. So yeah, my name's Selena. I also go by Piglet. That's how I sign all my art. My Instagram's Explicit Piglet Inc. if you guys want to see my work. Today, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the process of monetizing on I think it's something that every artist struggles with is, okay, I make art. How am I going to make money on it? Like, we've all been there. For me specifically, I chose the route of tattooing. How I got there, kind of luck, to be honest. In high school, I worked at an art studio called Artists for Humanity. And my mentors there were 2 amazing artists, Derek Jesus and Andy Vicente. They're both Brockton natives. If you don't know them, you should find them on Instagram, follow them. They're great. So they started tattooing while I was in college in my first semester. I don't know what I was doing in college. I decided I couldn't pursue art because I'll never make a living on it. I didn't want to be an art teacher because I don't really like kids. So art wasn't for me, right? So here I am in college, dropping out because what am I doing in college? And I hear that Derek and Andy are tattooing now. So naturally, I just start hanging out with them and bringing them food at the shop and just kind of, seeing how the career is treating them and how they like the field. And obviously they loved it. So that's how I started, was really just building up that relationship with them. I'm lucky enough that they were already my mentors in an artistic way. So it was a very, very smooth transition. But the biggest question I get asked is like, how does someone become a tattoo artist? And it's not something you go to school for. There are tattoo schools out there, but you do not want to go to them. They are scams. You will not get hired anywhere after graduating from a tattoo school. It's really, an apprenticeship is the route to becoming a tattoo artist. And apprenticeships are hard to come by. The best way to get into it is to really build up that relationship with an artist that you like, or a shop that you like the artist, you like all their work. That's really where you start from there. And apprenticeships usually last 2 years on average. It can be longer than that. I've heard of apprenticeships lasting up to 5 years. They're not usually less than 2 years. They really shouldn't be, just because it's not enough time to really know what you're doing. And also apprenticeships are not paid. You are usually paying for an apprenticeship. So it's a big commitment. But if you can do it, it's totally worth it, because tattooing is fucking awesome. Another big thing I noticed with a lot of people that I've seen come into the shop and maybe tried to apprentice and it didn't work out is being able to take criticism is a huge part of apprenticing. You are really opening your art up to be torn down, and it's and that's really a lot of people's hardest thing, is dealing with, oh my God, all of a sudden you're being told you're not good enough, and you really have to have that strong sense of self to be able to be like, okay, this was bad, but I can move on from that. Like, it's okay to do a bad drawing. It's okay to not be good enough now. It's not okay to do a bad tattoo, which is why all that criticism is really important during your apprenticeship, because it gets you to where you need to be for tattooing. Let's see. For me personally, once I finished my apprenticeship and then started taking clients, I definitely noticed an imbalance with my clientele. I was tattooing way more women than men. And I actually love that, because I just like vibing with other women. I like hearing your lives, your stories, your professional endeavors, your artistic endeavors. I just enjoy spending time with other women. But I also really liked it because it was showing me that I was making a space for women, right? Like, there's a reason my clientele is so heavy with women and less men, and that's because they go to a shop and they immediately feel safer being tattooed by me than by a man. And I'm just so glad that I can make that space for women, because I think it's really important. I think there's a lot of people that maybe wouldn't get a tattoo because they feel uncomfortable with a man touching them, or they want it in a spot but they don't want someone seeing them a certain way or something. So I think it's so important to have women in this field, because everybody likes tattoos and there's not enough safe spaces for women to feel comfortable, and not having to worry about the bullshit that we worry about all day anyway. So yeah. And then the last thing I just wanted to touch on real quick is marketing for me. So being a tattoo artist is pretty much like running a business. We're self-employed, so I do all my own accounting, ordering, marketing, everything. And in a field where there's so many artists and so many styles, it can be really easy to feel like you're just getting lost in the crowd, right? So like, how do I stand out as an artist? How do I make myself stand apart from everybody else? And that's something I think I'm still figuring out for sure. But I found for myself, networking events like this, thank you, Key-onna, for putting this on. This is really what makes success. Like, networking with other women has been huge for me, because you never know in these type of events, like, who you're gonna meet, the type of opportunities that it leads to in the future, and just building each other up. Like I feel so strongly that when women get together, like we can do literally anything. We just like empower each other to success, and it's great. I also think though that being a woman in this field comes with its negatives for sure. Like I know that I'm not always taken as seriously as my male counterparts. There are definitely times when a client maybe just doesn't believe that they don't feel confident in my ability to know the right direction we should go. And one client in particular always stood out for me, and it was a great learning experience. He had come in with black lettering on his arm, and he wanted it covered with a yellow sun. So I explained to him that that's not how tattoos work. You can't cover up black lettering with a yellow sun. And he basically told me, like, you don't know what you're talking about, shut up and do the tattoo. And I did, and it was a terrible cover up. Like, it didn't cover anything. And it was a great learning experience because it showed me, like, I need to know my worth as an artist. I need to know that the client is not always right. Like, I'm the professional, and I need to be able to say no to clients that, don't respect my knowledge on the craft, basically. And that's something that I kind of need to carry through life, but I'm working on it slowly. That's pretty much it. I don't really have much else for you guys, so just open it up to questions. Anybody ever had questions that they were afraid to ask an artist, feel free to ask me. Kyaunna, if you want to read them, that would be awesome.
Okay. Do you have a favorite style of tattooing?
I do. I love black and gray work, specifically something called pepper shading, which is like really fine lines, kind of like whip shading. And I'm florals.
Okay. Are there any challenges you had to face being a female tattoo artist?
Definitely. So I feel lucky actually, because the men I work with are really great guys. Like my mentors, fantastic. A lot of women looking for apprenticeships have to deal with a lot of bullshit. A lot of times artists are looking to hook up with you, or they might string you along that they might apprenticeship you, but they're like looking for something else, and I didn't have to deal with any of that. So I feel very lucky on that stance, but a lot of female artists do have to deal with that. And then just what I touched on with clients not always believing in my abilities.
Sorry to hear that.
It's a part of life.
Yeah, it definitely is. Well, I have a question. Did you do any of your own tattoos on yourself before?
I've just done little ones, nothing crazy. My pain tolerance is not great.
I hear that.
I'm doing myself.
I see. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? I'm gonna unmute, or unmute yourself if you want.
How often do you get somebody who wants like colorful pieces?
Colorful pieces?
Yeah, like how often?
All the time. It's pretty 50-50. Black and gray is kind of coming back into like style right now, because the past 10 years the biggest trends were all colors. Now black and gray is starting to be more of the trend, but I don't think colors will ever go away. It's pretty much a 50-50 split.
I have a question. How do you feel about touch-ups? Like, I know some artists don't really like to do touch-ups and all that good stuff, but how do you feel about them?
So for me, I do free touch-ups for the first 3 months. In my first year of tattooing, I did free touch-ups for a year because I was newer at tattooing. I knew my work needed touch-ups more. So now I do touch-ups for the first 3 months, except for on hands. Any hand tattoos, you don't get free touch-ups because your hands do not heal well. It's just a fact of life. It's different for everybody. Some people work with their hands, wash their hands, or stuff like that. That's all going to affect how your tattoo lasts. So for some people, they can get a tattoo on their finger and it'll last 3 weeks and they need a touch up. So I charge like a less than the minimum for touch ups on stuff like that.
Good to know. Good to know.
What about cover-ups? How do you feel about doing like covering somebody else's work?
So cover-ups, it's kind of, it really depends. If it's an artist in the area and I know them, it depends how the tattoo looks. If it's a bad tattoo, like they messed up, I'm not happy with it, I'm happy to cover it. If it's like really good work, I might reach out to the artist and just let them know what's going on, that someone came to me for a cover-up, and are they cool with me going over their work. But for the most part, it's usually someone that got like a bad tattoo. So I don't feel bad covering a bad tattoo, because nobody deserves to walk around with something they don't like. Cover-ups are not my specialty. I've done some, but there's two artists, Andy and Derek, both at my shop, are incredible with cover-ups. Derek's like an award-winning cover-up artist, so definitely check them out if you need a cover-up.
I second what you're saying, for real. I've gotten a tattoo from Andy and Selena in the shop that you guys work out. You guys are awesome.
Hey, that's great to hear. It looks like Jarena also. Oh yeah, you're Jarena. All right, done. So yeah, you got a tattoo from Selena. So that was dope to have somebody that actually has your work on them forever.
It's this one. Hold on. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me see if you guys could see it.
Little baby Rose.
It's my favorite. Like, literally, Selena, this is my absolute favorite tattoo, like, ever.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
It means so much.
Oh, we got to see some of your work too. All right, so follow Selena. Give her a round of applause, everybody. And thank you so much for sharing your story and basically, your experience being a tattoo artist, a female tattoo artist at that. And no offense to the guys, but how guys can be in a tattoo. I would have never known that. Never would have even thought about it, that it would be a difference. I thought just getting a tattoo is getting a tattoo.
Yeah, guys are trash.
Sorry, Barbara. But it's good to know. Good to know. Let's say, down the line, somebody wants into being a tattoo artist, they already know what to look out for. But, all right. Thank you again. Is everybody having a good time? Everybody enjoying this? Chosen, where are you? Are you ready? I don't even know if she's... Okay.
Yeah, hey, I'm right here.
Okay, so we're going to get ready for Chosen. I'm just going to let her do her thing.
Okay.
Chosen, here you go. Let's start.
Can you hear me okay, guys? Am I good? Good? Good?
Yeah.
All
You're good. You're good.
Yes.
How you guys doing? I'm so happy to be a part of this. Thank you so much for having this platform and for hosting this. I think it's just so amazing considering like the situation and the circumstances. Having like a virtual event like this is amazing. So thank you for having me, first off.
No problem at all.
Okay, so my name is Carlene, but a lot of people call me Chosen. They know me as Chosen because that is my stage name. I am a spoken word poet. I am a blogger. I'm a published author. I am a podcast host. I am a mother. I am a host as well. So yeah, I kind of do a lot. I wear many hats. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share a poem with you guys, and then I'm going to share some writing tips for you guys. So just in case you decide that you want to start writing, whether it's publishing a book or writing a poem or even journaling, then hopefully my free tips can help you guys. So this poem is called Speak, and it's actually it's based on a true story. It's a poem. This poem was inspired by a story that I heard about a young boy. He was so traumatized. He went through a traumatic event that he no longer spoke. So that's kind of where this poem's inspiration came from. I once heard a story of a young boy who was robbed of his speech. The trauma pried the gripping words from his tongue, which once lived silence, became a run-on sentence screaming from the darkest secrets that hid behind his lips. Silence was the loudest they heard his voice. I wonder if anyone ever told him that his voice matters, that it has the power to break the bondages of guilt, shame, and pain that squeezes at his beating heart. I wonder if his family members ever looked him in the eyes and read its scripts, and realized that that generational curse was no pleasant family tradition, no light dust to be swept underneath the rug, forgotten. I wonder if he ever found a place where he felt comfortable being vulnerable. If he ever knew the arms of God to be a shelter to the homeless. His home was like a tornado, that's why he was homeless. I wonder. I wonder if the monster who set up shop in his childhood, the one who instructed him not to name the name of that game, knew that the boy's trembling voice could disturb his monstrous cave like an earthquake running wild. All the while, silence was the monster's safety. Silence was a yellow caution tape alerting outsiders that the boy's body was a crime scene. Something murdered his innocence. His mother breathed hatred like a fire-breathing dragon because her son, her baby, never grew into a man because silence trapped him in a coffin when he was very much alive. Although every breath was a perfect escape for his words to flow, his speech slept and missed the journey to freedom. If I could meet him, I would tell him, let your voice run free like the seasoned feet of our ancestors escaping from the wicked. I mean, the ones who beat the birth name from the tongues of our ancestors and demanded that they remain silent. Defiant was what they were called, all because they didn't behave and play the game of master and slave, but that didn't stop their feet from looking for deliverance. Don't let that stop your voice from searching for deliverance. I would tell him, let your voice blare like the trumpets that tore down Jericho's fortified walls. Those walls cannot withstand the weight of God's hand stitched into the blanket of the victorious cries. God's hand is resting. It's stitched in the blanket of that maze. Even if you get lost trying to find your beginning from the end. Let your voice be a warrior, slaying whoever and whatever rises up to oppress. Whoever told you not to speak, whoever told you to remain silent knows that a mouse cannot tame a lion. Well, I promise you, those bars are not your home. Speak. Tell society that those bars are not your home. Tell that monster that those bars are not your home. Within the four walls where you danced with trauma, that place is no longer your home. Your voice is no longer victim. Your voice is survivor. Your voice is no longer submissive. Your voice is superior. You have the right to remain silent. A phrase that my people hear way too often, right? Well, you have the right to speak. A phrase that I have to remind my people way too often. Look that monster in the face and tell it, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Your voice was never created to be a curse. It was never created to be an offspring to pain. What if I told you that your voice had enough magic to summon change, enough healing to mend pain, enough love to reverse damage? When they are not listening, know that they are listening. When they act like they don't care, know that your voice is tapping on someone's inner man like the raindrops that tap beautifully on the soil that plants a seed. I have to remind myself that ears are listening and lives are waiting. Thank you.
Woo!
Thank you.
Yes.
Wow.
Amazing. Clap, Elijah.
Oh, Elijah in the building.
All right, no whining, because if you're going to whine, you ain't going to be in the video.
So I'm just gonna share like a really quick PowerPoint. It's like less than a minute. It's not super fancy, so hopefully it's not corny, but I'm gonna share with you guys, and it's just a couple of writing tips to kind of help you guys out. So let me know if you can see. All right, let me do this now. Perfect. You guys can see it? Everything okay?
Yeah.
All right, you guys can hear me? Perfect. All righty. So let me just go off my screen. All right, so this is, again, quick tips to get you started on the journey of writing. So let me just give you a quick timeline, I guess, where I got started and how I got started. So back in 2011, that's really when I started taking spoken word poetry so serious. I was inspired by the Strivers Row. And if you guys do not know who they are an amazing group of poets. I saw them perform live. I was able to meet them, talk to them, take pictures with them, and that was my first time ever meeting them. I was not introduced to poetry or spoken word poetry before meeting them and seeing them perform. So this is a picture of one of my very first performances, reading a poetry piece that I've written. And so then I continued to perform and I continued to speak. And then I came up with the stage name Chosen, which is inspired by 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9. And then in 2016, I decided that I wanted to start a platform called Phenomenally Chosen. So we do a lot of events in the community. I try to bridge the gap between church and like mental health, or church and community. I try to kind of bridge that gap and bring everybody together. So yeah, I started to do that. I was nervous starting something like this, you know, hosting events and just creating this platform, and even coming out as a spoken word poet and sharing my truths. I was very nervous. I didn't have any classes. I didn't know where to start. So it was difficult for me, but I found my way. And in 2017, I published my very first book. It is called What is Love? The Mysteries of the Heart, and it is available on Amazon. If you guys want to purchase, you know, it has a lot of juicy stuff like love, hate, betrayal, and murder. Okay, it doesn't have murder. I just added that part in there. It doesn't have any of that, but it does have a lot of my truths and a lot of like my love poems and just my journey experiencing love and understanding what true love is and just loving myself. I decided that I was going to write a book. I was nervous. I didn't know where to start. I did a lot of research. I sat on the book for like about a year, and then I decided that I wanted to publish it. I had a lot of doubt. I was just scared, nervous. I kept like second guessing myself and just trying to, I guess, like tweak all my poems so it wouldn't be so raw. But I didn't end up doing that. I just kept everything as is. All right, so fast forward now, all the way to 2019. This was one of my kind of recent performances that I had. I was performing at my friend's single release party. And if you guys could see the difference between 2011, 2019, 2011, I had a paper and I was reading off of it and my nerves were like eating me alive. 2019, I have no paper. I memorized my poems and I look more confident. Yes, I still get nervous at times, but the confidence level, it surely has improved since that time. So there was some growth, a lot of growth that happened over those years. And then also in 2019, I also released my first single called Rejoice. And this month I plan on releasing my second single as well. So, you know, like I said, I am a poet. I write books. I also write songs too. I probably should add that part in there too as well. But I am a songwriter as well. Okay. So now you may ask yourself, well, where do I start? I want to write some poems, or I want to start a book, but I don't know where to start at all. Well, first and foremost, write for yourself. Don't write for anyone else. Don't try to be like anyone else. Be like yourself, write for yourself, and just write your truths and be as authentic as possible. Writing prompts, they always help. I have experience facilitating groups, and one group that I have facilitated and I absolutely love is creative writing. And in my creative writing group, I will provide individuals who are struggling with writing a writing prompt. And many of the times, the writing prompt that I give them is a word. So you may ask, well, what exactly is a writing prompt? A writing prompt could be a word. It could be a sentence. It could be a paragraph to kind of get you started, or it could even be a picture. And so that really just gets you started with writing and kind of get all that creativity flowing, and just kind of opens your mind and just lets you be creative and just write whatever you feel, whatever you want. So I did utilize words as writing prompts a lot, and they do help. They do help out a lot. Huh? Hold on.
Oh my god. Oh my god, that's crazy.
So then I also utilize music. I write to music a lot. Sometimes I hear a song and it inspires me. And so I decide, you know, it stirred up a lot of emotion and this is what I'm going to write about. Or what I like to do is I write to instrumentals, and that kind of gets the emotion flowing and kind of gets me thinking and the creative I guess, the creative blood flowing. So if you're having a difficult time writing and you don't know where to start, you could always utilize music. Music always helps. And just think about your experiences. Again, if you don't know where to start, write for yourself and think about your experiences. Think about your life. Think about things that you've encountered, challenges you face, obstacles you had to overcome. Just think about yourself and then just write. And you could just free write. It doesn't necessarily have to be a spoken word poem that you're going to perform in front of millions of people. It could just be a simple journal entry. It could just be just a simple note that you want to write to yourself. These are some tips that can kind of get you started with that, and hopefully it helps. But of course, think about your experiences and just really evaluate yourself and find out what inspires you. So it can be your family that inspires you, your child, your children, your spouse, life itself, your beliefs, your faith, whatever inspires you. You can use that kind of as a starting point to help you start writing. So I'm just going to go over quickly kind of like the starting process. So after you decided that you're going to write and that you're going to maybe listen to music or utilize writing prompts, whatever the case is, but now you're actually ready to sit down and get started. The first thing, you want to write what you are feeling. So what are you feeling inside? What do you want to communicate? Okay. Once you're able to identify what are you feeling, whether it's anger, whether it's resentment, whether it's joy, whether it's peace, fight through the fear. You may have doubts that what you're going to write is not worth it. You may have doubts that people don't want to read what you have to read what you wrote, or they don't want to hear what you have to say, or maybe you just feel like you're just going to fail at writing. Fight through the fears and just realize that you are writing your truths and you're writing for yourself. Fighting through the fear is not always easy. I fight through the fear literally every day. But at the end of it all, you see how this process and the journey is worth it. Dedicate time to your vision. When I say dedicate your time, don't rush the process. Dedicate time. Take some quiet time whenever you can. I know if you're a mother out there, it's hard to get quiet time. But find time where you can just sit down and just really just feel your feelings and then just write. If you're not taking time to be disciplined and, do better at time management and to dedicate to your vision, you can expect that other people are going to purchase your book and dedicate their time to your vision. You can't expect that your audience is going to listen to you and dedicate their time to hear what you have to say. So if you want people to value what you have, if you decide that you want to do spoken word poetry or you decide that you want to write a book, if you want other people to value that, you have to first value what you have to offer. Take your time with it. Like I said earlier, take your time with it. This is more so if you want to write a book or perform. This doesn't really apply to writing, personal journal entries, but just take your time. Think about what you want your readers to feel when they read your book, or how you want your audience to feel when they hear you perform. Why is it what you're giving them worth it? Think about the value, think about the worth. Is this worth it? Is this really going to affect people? Because what we fail to realize is that anything that we do, whether it's writing, poetry, singing, even makeup or hairstyling or whatever the case is you're really changing lives with your work. So back to writing, you have to just question, what am I doing right now, and is it worth it? How can you make your message clear? So if you're writing a spoken word piece, what I do a lot is I edit my pieces a lot. And I just want to make sure my message is clear. And even if you're writing a book, you want to just reread it a lot and edit it a lot. And just make sure your message is clear. So your audience and your readers can really understand what you're trying to say. Brainstorm ways to present what you have. Be as creative as possible. I'm all for creativity. I love creativity. And so I'm going to leave you guys with a writing prompt, just in case you decide that you want to, start writing, whether it's a journal entry or, spoken word or a book or whatever the case is, or you just want to write. The writing prompt I'm going to leave for you guys today is just simple, the word freedom. So whatever you think of when you hear that word, however you feel, just whatever comes to mind, just free write and just, you know, use the tips that I gave you, and hopefully, you know, you're able to come out with something beautiful and, you know, happy writing. The writing process is supposed to be like a happy process and not a stressful process. Let me see if I can go back now. All right, am I back? Can you guys see me? Oh, I'm back. Perfect. So it's supposed to be, you know, a joyful process, and yeah, so just, you know, happy writing, enjoy the process, and yeah, thank you again for this opportunity. Like I said, I also, you know, I have ample experience facilitating creative writing groups. So if you guys are ever interested in that, or even if you have something you want me to read one-on-one, then I could do that as well. Yeah, that's me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chosen. Oh, that was awesome. And it was so nice. That was a beautiful presentation. Nice and neat, organized, appealing.
Thank you.
You know, I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Let me see if you have some questions. Yes, you do. So we're gonna get into the questions. What have you found that helps you before going on stage? Is there a certain ritual that you do?
So usually before I go on stage, I do like deep breathing exercises because I get super anxious. I really do. Like I get super anxious, and yeah, I usually just do deep breathing exercises. So what I do is I usually put one hand on my chest, one hand on my stomach, and then I just inhale through my nose and make sure my stomach rises, and then exhale through my mouth. That's another thing. Like I'm big on mental health and mental wellness. I'm actually in school for that, and God's willing, I'm going to graduate this year with my master's. But yeah, so I'm big on mental health and mental wellness. So everything that I learned, I also try to utilize myself. But yes, I do deep breathing exercises. Usually before I perform, I pray. I pray to God, and I'm like, Lord, calm these nerves, because if I miss a couple of lines, I don't know, I'm just gonna have to improvise. But I pray, and I just take some quiet time away from everybody and just walk around and clear my mind. And yeah, that's what I usually do.
Okay, thank you. How long did it take you to write your book, What is Love?
So about a year, I think. Yeah, about a year. Originally it started out like something else, and then I took a break, and then I revisited it, and then I started working on it again. And then let me see if I actually I should have took this out earlier for you guys. But yeah, it took me about a year, and then what I did was I went back and I just like revised it, and you know, I read over it and I tweaked different things and made sure everything was to my liking. So yeah, this is it, if you guys can see it. Yeah, my friend actually painted up the cover art for me too. So.
And it's still available on Amazon, you said, right?
Yes, ma'am. It's still available on Amazon. I also have copies too, so I can mail those out as well.
All right, everybody got that? And one more question. Well, for me, one more question. What inspired the poem that you recited earlier, which was so beautiful, by the way?
So that poem was inspired. It was actually so I work in the field, the mental health field, and you know, I heard a story of a young boy. He went through something so traumatic, and this is actually a story from his mother. He went through something so traumatic, and I think it was honestly to the point that she didn't even know what he went through. It was that bad, and he just didn't open up to anyone. He didn't talk at all. You know, he tried to use all like the resources and supports that was in place for him, but he was just so traumatized that he didn't speak. So that story kind of stayed with me for like a while, for like years and years and years. And I really feel like our voice is so important. And a lot of times we don't share our truths because we're like nervous or scared. But what I realized is once you go through something, and I understand everyone has their higher power. My higher power is God, Jesus Christ. So I feel like once you go through something, and you know, he brings you out of something, and you learn something, and you have the opportunity to grow, and you feel like you can touch lives and help somebody else that's going through what you're going through. I just encourage you guys to just share your truth and to be authentic, and just to, you know, share your truth. And that's not always easy because, you know, it wasn't easy for me to share my truths. That's kind of where Phenomenally Chosen comes in. That's when I kind of came out and shared like some difficult things that I was dealing with. But that's, you know, how I feel, you know, that we go through things and sometimes we kind of just bottle ourselves up and we don't want to talk about it. But if you really went through something and you feel empowered and you feel like you can touch lives and actually like save lives, then share your truth. And like they say, shame the devil.
Amen.
Hey, are there any more questions? I've unmuted everybody. If you're muted, you got to unmute yourself. Chosen, we can see all the messages and everything, just so you know, just in case you were going to open up a text message. Just put it out there. Does anybody have any questions for Chosen?
Are you still doing performance art?
Hey, how you doing?
Hi.
So when you say performance art, what do you mean? Like spoken word poetry? Am I still performing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Still performing. I perform at different functions. Doesn't matter usually what it is. And if you guys are ever interested in booking me, you could go to my website. It's www.iamchosen.co. And yeah.
All right, I'm gonna have to get you on the card. I'm gonna have to get you performing again at one of my events.
Of course, I got you.
All right, where?
Sorry, Chosen. www.iamchosen.co. Did I spell it correctly?
Yep, that's perfect.
I put it in the chat, guys, so you have it there. And I also put her IG, so please follow her. Let's network. Thank you. That poem was
Thank you, guys.
Yes, you know, everyone was touched by it. Looks like
I'm mad I missed it. I'm sorry. Can I get a copy or something?
Duffy, I'm recording this right now. Thank you for coming, by the way, Duffy. That's a fellow photographer that's on the line. Can we see your face though?
I look a hot mess right now.
Welcome to quarantine life. That's why we're here. Oh, see, here you go. Yeah, I have this recorded, and I did do some recording, so you will, I'm sure, hear it again from me. But Chosen also does a lot of shows, so follow her, find out when her next show is. And she's been hosting her own virtual open mics. So
I have one coming up May 19th, that's a Tuesday. May 19th on my Instagram page, it's Instagram Live. The first one was like amazing. So yeah, you guys tune in if you want to share something.
I was in too. It was very nice. So you guys could definitely hop on that May 19th. What time?
8 p.m. Eastern
8 p.m. on her IG. That will be great. Okay, let's support each other, support artists.
Yes.
All right. So let's give Chosen a round of applause like we've been doing, everybody. All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So we're going to keep moving along. The next person is, guess who? Me. You all stuck with me. So like we've been doing, nothing's changing. If you have questions, I know some people just came in. Welcome, everybody. I see some people coming in and leaving and coming back. So I just want to say this. All questions can be put in the chat, and we'll answer them at the end, or I will take everyone off mute at the end of each presentation for you to ask questions, okay? Is everybody enjoying this, though, that's been here? You know, are you all having a good time? Can I hear something?
Yeah, so far so good.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so this is cool. All right, good. All right, so I'm gonna get started with myself. I've been organized to make sure everybody else is good. I didn't really check myself, so just be patient with me. So I'm gonna share my screen, but I won't be able to see the chats because I'm just moving them out the way for my own sake. So give me a second, guys. Because I only did this like maybe twice now, and it does what it wants sometimes. All right, so I don't know what you guys are seeing right now, but excuse what you're seeing because I gotta get to what I'm looking for. All right. Let me know if you see a baby.
Yep.
Does everyone see a baby? Unmute yourself.
Yes. I
Okay,
see baby.
That baby is my goddaughter, Cheyenne. She is now 5 years old. This was taken when she was only 6 months years old, okay? 6 months years old. Do you guys hear me? 6 months old. Woo! All right, so you see, I'm already, like, I'm just so amped and happy that we're doing this, guys. This is, like, so much fun. I don't know where I went, so I hope that you guys can still see me. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So for those who don't know me, my name is Kyaunna once again. My photography name is K Fresh Photography. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook. I'm even on Twitter due to quarantine at the letter K Freezy Fresh. Just follow me, and my website is kfreshphotography.org. Okay, we're just gonna go through some pictures, and I'm gonna talk about my pictures, tell you where I started. So feel free to sit back, relax, and enjoy. So, photography. So I started off as a preteen. I was like 12, 13 years old, saving my allowance. I used to get $20 every Friday, as long as I kept up with my homework, did my chores after school, and basically was a good girl. I would get $20 every Friday. I would take that $20 and probably go to like CVS and purchase a disposable camera. I don't know if you guys remember those film cameras that used to wind up and you have to bring them back to develop, but that's where I started. I used to take pictures of, nature, trees, leaves, things like that to my family, friends that were around if they allowed. I would take their pictures, develop them, and spread them out all over my mother's coffee table. I would get yelled at because all my pictures are across her coffee table and around her living room. She would get upset. So now she understands to this day why I used to do the things that I did. From there, I think it was 2000, I want to say it was 2007, 2008, I started, oh, sorry guys. I started taking pictures with a digital camera. I actually taught myself. I used to read, this is before like, I feel like YouTube was really taking over. So I would use oops, sorry guys. I'm going the wrong way. I would use, my digital camera to take pictures of obviously people, but I started going into the nightlife. I was starting to be of age to get into the nightlife. So I was just like, let me go take some pictures. Why not? Just for fun. There was no business reason. It was just because I like taking pictures. I want to capture the memories. So I started going out there, taking pictures downtown Boston. I don't know if you guys remember, I don't know what it's called now, but it's used to be Club Pearl. I know one time it was Red Roxy Room and some other names. Now Legacy. Now it's a different name, I think. But
Yo, Pearl was the spot.
yeah, Pearl. Okay, so you remember that night, especially Thursday nights. That was my go-to night, along with I would go to all different clubs downtown, start taking pictures. That's how I built my clientele. And a lot of my clientele ended up being models too. That was also at the clubs because they will go to the clubs. And I had rented some space out in Avon, started my studio up, and get people to come all the way out from Boston to Avon. People would troop it from on the bus or in their cars, and started taking pictures of me. Over time, I started meeting more people. I would go out to churches. I started doing craft events. People just said word of mouth was still big. So people would just tell people about me, and that's how it really just started. And each time I was self-taught the whole time, reading the camera manuals. YouTube started getting great, so I would just teach myself anything about cameras, the softwares, Adobe, Photoshop, and then Lightroom started coming on later on. So I started teaching myself about that, and from there, this is where I am. I've been doing a lot of photography, a lot of more event photography and portraits, but I do sell my landscape photography. It's fun. I meet a lot of different people from all different parts of the world. I also have pictures out in Texas right now displayed. I did have a couple shows going on, but due to the pandemic, obviously, it's on hold. But I have pictures up in Avon Public Library right now. They also were going to be in JP Licks at the Legacy Place, but due to everything, everything's on hold. But I will keep everyone posted. Follow me. Make sure you are following me, K Freezy Fresh. But I'm gonna get on to my pictures. So basically, like I said, I'm big on studio, but I also do outdoor. This picture is just a picture of a model that I took in the studio. Her name's Cassandra. I purposely used this picture here for this presentation. I took this in Austin, Texas at an art gallery. And I just admired how the lady who ran the art gallery would just have these stickies up with all these affirmations and things. And I felt like this was a good time to show you guys this. You are grateful. And if you could see the blurred one to the right of it, that you are patient. I am patient. And that's what I think we just need that to remember that right now, because during this tough time, you know, you feel like you might not have it all, but you got a roof over your head. You're here with us. So it can't be that bad. And we just got to be patient and see what happens and think positive. I wish that one was on there, but we just got to keep thinking positive. This photo here of this lady, this was at a photography conference in Detroit. We were just learning about different types of lighting. So this one, reason why I'm using this picture, because if you could see, she has the fro going on, which I love dearly. But I will tell you, some people, I mean, a lot of people questioned her about her hair, loved her hair so much that it like, everybody was just like, you know what, we're gonna use her to practice all this lighting on just because of her hair. And that's where it all started, with the natural look. So I just thought that was cool, that people actually, you know, embraced her ethnicity and the natural look that she was wearing that day. I also take pictures at a showcase called Good Music Showcase Series that happens once a month, every first Thursday of the month, but unfortunately, it's not going on as of right now. It's usually at Maggie's Lounge in Quincy. This one in particular was in Rhode Island, because Good Music had moved over to Rhode Island, here and there doing shows. So this was just a live performance that I caught just all the action. It was just a good time that night. And as you could see, everybody was having a good time. Everybody was lit. It was a good time that night. Shout out to DJ LC. This photo right here, this is from my first and only long-term project that I did. It took a whole year to take. It started off in December, as you can see. This is, well, I can't even say as you can see, because we're expecting snow this weekend, but that's another story. This was the blizzard of 2015. This is for a project called 4 Seasons of Love that was dedicated to a fellow photographer named Deidre Joseph. Unfortunately, he passed away in a car accident. And the two models, along with myself, were very close to him. So we decided to do a long-term project that was dedicated to him, as he inspired us to do a lot and do everything that we can, and put 100% in everything that we do. So this part here was called Frozen Emotions. Basically, at this point in the project, she was just not interested in dude, and it just showed all over her face. She was all about herself. And as you can see, she just kept that face. Shout out to Lexi and Marcus. They held it down, some dedicated models. It was like a great time, because we also shot in obviously spring, summer, and fall. You can find this project out on my website, kfreshphotography.org, and I think I have some of the pictures on my social media here and there. So check that out. If you want more information, let me know. Just gonna keep going. This thing allows me. Uh-oh, I did it again. Okay. This one here, this was also another photography conference. It actually wasn't a wedding. This was another photography conference, but this one was in Atlanta, where we, I see you guys in the chat. I just can't see the chat, so I apologize. I hope you guys are not telling me something about technology, so let me just check really quick.
Everything's good.
What'd you say? Everything's good?
Everything's good. Everything's
Thank
good.
you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah, this was a photography conference out in Atlanta. We were just practicing on different wedding decorations. They had a whole lot, like they filled up this room. If you can see in the back, it's kind of blurred, but that actually was a woman's wedding dress hanging up in the window. So we had some pictures caught of that in the back, blurred out. But I also wanted to show, because I also do product photography, so this is just a little sample as well. So yeah, this photo here was also taken in Atlanta at the A3C festival. That is Trina. I don't know if you all know the music artist Trina. She was big in the 90s, early 2000s, but this is her. I took this 2018. It was great. This was an amazing show that she put on, and the lights, as you can see, everything was just awesome, and she's just awesome. So I was glad to capture that photo. This photo here was part of a series that I did. Oh, Selena, you were part of this too, but it's the same lighting idea with the lights. It's funny, those particular holiday lights are actually behind me, but behind my my bed right now because I didn't want them to show for this. But basically, I was just trying to play with some Christmas lights, get different lightings. We're literally on the floor of her living room. She had a wooden floor. I don't know if you guys know Marie. Shout out to her. She models, and she's just a very kind woman. She has a son that she loves so much. He's actually to the left of me as I'm taking this picture. It was a good time. It's just like sometimes, you know, you just never know what the photographers do to keep to get these pictures, to take these pictures. So we're, like I said, we're laying right on her floor in her living room, and I just draped the lights over her, and that's what we got. This picture here, I was on my way to a baby shower and out in Bridgewater, and I just happened to look over, and this sunset was like everything. So I had to catch it. It was just something just caught my eye. But I also want to show, yes, I do landscape, sunsets, everything. I sell all these pictures that I take as far as landscape. I have trees. I mean, people have seen my work before as far as the landscape. So I sell it all. It's on Zenfolio. I have a link for that too. So link with me. I will get you that information if you're interested in any home decor, since you're home in quarantine, probably changing your house around like I've been doing. Feel free, or when you go back to your office, I have some prints for you. This is one of the many maternity shoots that I've done. I did this in the studio, of course. It was a great time. That baby is big now. I see her on Instagram. Shout out to Felicia and Steve. Congratulations once again. This is going back. This is a wedding that I did. I just only took, oh, actually, no, sorry. This is at the photography conference. I'm sorry. A lady put her wedding ring in a bouquet of flowers, and I just was like, you know, I have to catch that. And I just shot the picture, and this is what I got. Thought it was beautiful. So, yep, that's that. This photo here is of a music artist. His name is Cohiba. He is out here in Boston. He's actually got a lot of albums and things coming out. He's doing great. But this particular photo, along with a few others, were actually submitted in a magazine called Shabba Magazine. I don't know if anybody's heard of it, but yeah, it's in the magazine. It came out last year. If you want more information about that or want a copy of it, it was a lot of great work. It was just a men's style magazine, and they loved the pictures. And that's what we got. That day in particular was so hot, guys. Like, I think it was like 90 something degrees, and we just did it. We didn't care. We were just like, whatever, we're gonna get it done because we were trying to meet a deadline. This was actually at a conference, but I knew the lady. She was there. She was very inspiring, gave a little speech, and she allowed us to practice some headshots on her. So I decided to use those. And notice I'm using pictures that I've did at conferences on purpose for this presentation, because I want to show you guys, like, I've been doing this for a while, but sometimes it's always great to just touch up on your skills, travel, and meet new people. And that's basically what I love to do. And this is why you're seeing some of these people in these pictures. This picture here was taken one of our last blizzards that we just had in 2019. And it was a popular one because everybody loved how the snow sat on the branches. I don't know why, but they did. And I think it just set a mood for everybody at the time. I sold a lot of them at holiday craft fairs. It was really surprising because I only just went outside in my backyard and just snapped, and that's what I got. This is Lexi. I don't know if you remember her from the Frozen Emotions picture that I showed you about the long-term photo project that I worked on. Well, this is when she was pregnant with her son. She wanted to take pictures in the sunflower field. I was right on it because I thought it was the most beautiful thing, and I've never ever took pictures in a field like this before. And this is how it came out. It was one of my favorite maternity shoots. So yeah, so that's how that came out. Look at that belly. That kid is also huge right now. So these kids are growing up fast. This is a model. He goes by Ryan. He's from Boston. I've taken a lot of his pictures as well. He does a lot of runway and print modeling. We were at, where were we here? We were at a train station in Quincy, just taking pictures, and I had Alex Ford, shout out to him. He was doing my behind the scenes for this shoot, along with some other shoots that I was doing that day, and this was just one of the captures. It's just, I like how his face just looks. It's just a mood, and yeah. And I'm going to end off with this one here with everything that we're going on, and kind of piggyback what kind of Chosen was saying, and just a little bit more with the time that, you know, usually people look at benches as like, you know, something therapeutic. So if there's ever a time you just need to sit, talk to somebody, or just have time with yourself, even during this time, just to get through, there's nothing wrong with that. I personally, not saying, like, actually I'm enjoying this time, but I know, you know, it could be a challenge because, you know, a lot of things are going on with death and stuff like that. But sometimes, you know, we just have to have faith. I'm not going to get into the whole religious part, but just have faith that everything's going to work itself out. And you can always take that time to yourself to just reflect and start all over again. And I don't know how this world is going right now, but this might be our new norm. I don't know. Or it might be part of our new norm. But just try to, basically what I'm trying to say is just expand your horizons and just be open to whatever we got to do. Make sure you're wearing your mask. They're $300 fine. So make sure you do that. And yeah, that's about it. Oh, I forgot one picture, but that's okay. I want to share with you guys, but it's all right. I am open for questions. Let me see. I hope that wasn't too quick, too fast. I know we're just on a time thing, so I just wanted to make sure we were good. But feel free to unmute yourself if you have a question. I'm checking out the chat right now.
Do you have a specific favorite style, like, of shooting, or do you just whatever catches your eye, just catches your eye?
That infamous question. Oh my goodness. I do not. I love portraits. I love event photography, and I love landscape. It's everything. I just love it all. I don't have anything in particular that I love shooting. I just love doing it all. So no, I do not. Working on trying to find my real niche, but I don't know. Anybody else? Actually, I do have one more picture I think I want to show you guys. Anybody else? Feel free to just unmute yourself as I try to pull this up.
Kyaunna, do you want me to read the comment questions for you?
Sure, because I cannot see them right now. I'm trying to.
All right.
Is
there anything that you would like to photograph or a style to try that you haven't done already?
That I haven't done already? Yes, I do. So it kind of relates to video because I hope to, sorry guys, I'm just gonna flip through this really quick. I hope to get into video soon, but I just got a drone for my birthday, and one of the shots I would love to capture is a shot from a drone, and basically up high over a city look and shooting down and just getting the whole, just the city vibe from up above. We call that a bird's eye. So just getting it from up above like that, that's something that I'm actually looking forward to. So I'm glad you actually asked that question because that's what I was thinking about. And I went to go test my drone out earlier today before it started raining. And it was one of my thoughts in my head. But other than that, in particular, I'm just open for anything. I don't limit myself. So I love when people come up with ideas and bring them to me and like, hey, they want to shoot this, let's do it. Like, I'm just one of those because it also teaches me something new. Sorry, I'm trying to show you guys something. If it allows me to move. Oh, that's the picture I wanted to show you guys. So this one here, just really quick. I don't know if you've all seen this before or yet, because this picture has been in Randolph Famous Pizza out in Randolph. It's actually hanging up as a 16 by 20. If you see the lady on the left, her name, she goes by Sheila. Behind her, that yellow wall next to the pizza boxes that you can see in the back, the picture's actually there hanging up. It's been there since 2016. People have went by, told me they've seen it, has taken pictures with it, things like that. I basically shot it in this pizza shop that looked like a diner. I wanted to show that there can be diversity in a diner. It was inspired by Marilyn Monroe. I had them do like their own pinup look, and this is what everyone came out with. I did not pick colors, nothing. I told them to do what they want, and this is what we came up with. So I just wanted to show you guys that. And since that just popped up, and I'm sure you guys just seen this recently on my Instagram. This picture here, basically, I took of a model. She was open to whatever I wanted to do, so I kind of dressed, those are all my props, threw it on her, and I just wanted to set a mood. But it's supposed to just be about love, nothing in particular. We were just playing around, and this is the shot. But yeah, all right, sorry, I cut into our questions and answers. Anybody else? Thank you. Anybody else have questions? This is gorgeous. Okay, Selena, is there any more questions?
What do you look for in a model?
I have no limits with models. I shoot all shapes, sizes, colors. I don't limit. I feel like once you limit yourself for what skills you can have. So, because there's a way that you might shoot, someone who's on a smaller side versus on a bigger side. You know what I mean? Or even with someone with glasses, you might shoot them one way because they wear glasses. You don't want to catch the glare too much, to another way. So you do catch the glare on purpose and you edit it out later. It's all up to you, whatever you decide to do. And those are those things, like, for example, I'm using the glasses because taking a glare out of glass was a huge challenge for me, guys. And now I know how to do it, so I'm confident. So I just wanted to share that. So no, I don't really have a limit. Any more? I'm trying to get this. Any more questions?
I think that's it. Chosen asks, what's your favorite type of pictures you like to take? Portraits, landscape, performance, fashion, etc.?
Yeah, I had answered that. Yeah, I'm basically everything. Everything. I'm so open to it. Yeah, I'm not one of those go to K Fresh because she only shoots events and she does the, nope. I'll do your headshots and everything. So.
Can I ask you a question outside of the text?
Oh yeah, of course.
I don't know how to use Zoom very well, so I don't know how to send text message or whatever. But I wanted to ask you, as a fellow photographer, how do you keep up with the ever-changing technology and like keeping up with just like all the new tricks and things? And do you feel like technology has kind of stifled the traditional photographer?
Okay. So the first part, what was the first question?
How do you keep up with technology? It seems like every like 6 months there's new cameras, there's new filters, there's new ways to do what we've done the hard way for so long, and now you just press a button and it's done. How do you manage to keep up with all of that?
So basically I don't. I shot with a crop, you understand, basically with the, how do I explain a crop camera? Basically a camera that can't see as wide as,
right. Yeah,
I'm gonna just limit it down to that way. Basically when you shoot, it's not as wide, you can't get a huge range. I shot with that camera, or those kind of cameras, for my first like 6-7 years of just shooting, and I never had a problem with it. It wasn't until I started going to conferences that I was inspired to check out newer cameras, but it wasn't a huge deal for me. And it still isn't. Like, I do try to keep up just to hear what's going on, but you could take a picture with basically anything. It's all about your style, really. I'm not big on, let me get the latest lens, let me get the latest camera. I do check out, like I will research, look them up. but it's not like a huge thing. But I do keep up with a lot going to the photography conferences because they keep up with a lot. I wasn't a huge fan, like when we went from everybody wanting prints to digital. I kind of got caught in the middle of that because when I first started, everybody wanted their pictures printed. You know, they wanted pictures in their living room. Now everybody wants them digitally, and I'm just like, okay, but what about the prints? And I noticed over time people weren't ordering them as much. I would notice the most that people would order were more digitals, but it was like more of the older generations, that are used to prints. They don't understand the digital as much, or they do understand, but they want that picture of their daughter, son, granddaughter, or whoever in an actual print for their living room or whatever. So that's how I just kind of go with the flow. But at the same time, I don't try to get the latest. Not all the time, no.
Okay. And then my second question is, do you feel like technology has stifled the traditional kind of art photographer where like I learned how to develop in a dark room, and now you could literally develop by a blink of an eye. A lot of people do their developing in Photoshop and Lightroom and things, but you can utilize a lot of those Photoshop and Lightroom programs as apps now that are, you could just download the app and apply a filter. Do you feel like these filters are stifling the true art form of photography?
It depends. Like, for example, I will say I do.
Thank you. I just needed that confirmation. Thank you, girl.
I gotta explain why in a way, because, for example, if I take a picture of you, and sorry if you have done this before, because I think I've taken pictures of like everybody that's on here for the most part that I do know. I will take a picture of you with my camera. You know, with a camera, the way that the photographer takes it, that's their artistry right there. Once you put a filter over it, once you crop it, that's not their picture. That's not how they took it. Now we're talking copyrights and everything. That's not their work. That's something you're creating out of their work that well, if you did get approval from them, that's a different story. But if there's no approval and you take your professional photo that was just taken with a professional camera and bring it onto Instagram and throw one of those filters, you just mess up the whole artistry, especially from the photographer as an artist. I don't know if people understand that because it gets a little confusing, because then people are like, well, what about when, you know, a graphic designer or whoever will take a person off of a picture and put it onto another bits of art? That's different. We're creating more art for that reason. If the pictures are taken for a reason, like an album cover or whatever the case is, that's a different story.
Yeah,
go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Have to sign releases and things, you know what I mean? There's all different kinds of releases happen at that point, yeah.
Yes, but I'm not saying the filters that are chosen are not like the best, you know, filters you could have. I'm not knocking it for that reason. It's basically, if someone was to do that to one of my photos, I feel like, dang, they just took away what I just took. Like, you know what I mean? I took it this way. You know, that's how I want it to be out there. But at the same time, if you pay for your pictures and you want them a certain way, I can't, you know, I give you those copyrights if they're paid for. So, you know, it is what it is. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, you did, hands down. I have a couple questions to piggyback, but you and I could just have a conversation.
You know that all day. Any more questions? No? Did I go too fast? Too much? Do too much? If not, we're gonna keep going, guys. We got 2 more artists on here that I want you guys to hear from. But yeah, I thank you guys, and I thank you all for once again for being here, still sticking around. We're having a good time. And yeah, let's keep it going. The next one is a visual artist. She goes by Nikki. Nikki, are you still here? Are you still around? Yep, she's here.
Hello, I'm here.
Hi, Nikki.
Hello.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it.
Alrighty. I'm muted. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I muted.
That's okay.
Are you okay? You're good.
Yeah, got it.
I'm muting my.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nature Arts. Oh, unmuted again. Sorry. This keeps muting. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna try to share the screen actually. I hope everyone can still hear me. Okay, so
We can hear you.
all right. I'm not the best at speaking, sorry. Hold on one second.
You got this.
It's all good. You got this.
Thank you. My PowerPoint's not working the way I wanted it to, but I hope you guys can see it. So I'm from Somerville, Massachusetts, and I'm actually a licensed nail technician and esthetician since 2011. So I've been drawing ever since I was a kid, ever since I was able to pick up, pens and pencils. So my journey as a nail technician was quite random. I realized that I actually like to sculpt nail art. And all of this came about at the same time that I was randomly customizing sneakers. So I used to have a love for sneakers. So that journey actually started first. But I can say that everything came together because I actually suffer from depression. And so I have to, occupy my mind so I'm not thinking too much. So I started looking at nail art videos on YouTube, and I started sculpting acrylics just at home randomly. And everyone started telling me that I should go to nail school. So that started my nail art journey. And after going to nail school, I started at spas. And from then, it was recommended that I go to aesthetic school because I always had a passion for makeup, but I was never allowed to wear makeup as a kid because, religious reasons. But I would still play in it. And so I like a lot of creative makeup, not something people would consider as everyday makeup. So I like very dramatic things. So after going to aesthetic school, I continued working at the spas and did skincare and waxing and stuff like that mostly. And I was working in the beauty industry until earlier last year when I quit because of the depression got really, really bad. So then again, randomly, I started picking up sculpting with polymer clay. So I would sculpt people, and again, I learned that on YouTube. Just one day I said I wanted to work with clay because I always had this fascination with clay ever since I was a kid in art classes at an elementary school. So when I learned that, I just started just trying to figure out how to sculpt a face, then sculpt hands and everything. And it was surprisingly easy. And from there, I started portrait drawing, which was actually last year, which was another random thing because I was never good at drawing people. And so I did the 100 face challenge, which was going around, I believe, last year. I started doing that challenge and I was shocked at what I started creating because I did not think that I can do this. It took me 2 weeks to figure out how to draw people. So then I started taking random commissions, which was not the goal because I don't like the pressure because I'm trying to create someone else's vision, which I don't usually like to do. But in this particular portrait drawing at the top with the crown, she's a makeup artist and she's starting her businesses, and she kind of pushed me to do that portrait. I'm so happy that I did. It came out wonderful and she loves it and she uses it for her business now. And so I will just draw friends and sorry about the text messages if you guys can see them. I'll just draw random pictures of friends, inspirations, doodles, and just whatever I see on the internet, I would draw people. And all the 4 pictures at the bottom are all commissioned photos. So it's still a progress for me because I'm learning how to love this and stay positive because I am a procrastinator. But this is all my work so far. And if you want to see more, you can check out my Instagram page because I have a lot more. And that's all I have for right now.
Those are
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you.
Thank you
because
so much.
Those are beautiful. Wow.
Thank you.
All right. Any questions? I don't see anything in the chat, but everyone's telling you thank you. Wow,
Thank you so much.
amazing. Oh, do you have a favorite type of art? Sculpting or anything?
At first I really enjoyed sculpting, but now that I started drawing, I'm preferring the portraits. And I was actually talking to Selena about doing tattoos, and that's my interest.
Wow.
Yeah.
This event is just getting even better. Look at the connections. I love the connections, guys. That's dope. Okay. Nice. How many years have you been drawing?
I actually just started actually drawing last year. It's like, I think it was the middle, because before I would just doodle.
Mm-hmm.
But before this, I haven't been doing art on paper or sculpting at all. So it was just nail art for a while, and then that stopped because then I went to spas that were more of the natural type, so you just slap on polish, and then that was it.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really doing much of anything that was artistic for a while until actually leaving the spa. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Are you still doing nails, or did you say you weren't doing nails anymore?
Yeah, I stopped because it just wasn't doing anything for me after a while. I guess if I was doing nail art primarily, then I would still do it. But a lot of people in the Massachusetts, it will depending on certain areas, like the more natural nails.
How are you doing in quarantine?
Very well. I was in quarantine before it started.
Okay. I just meant mentally, like, if you ever need to reach out.
What did you say?
I was just saying mentally, like, I'm sure we've all experienced some kind of level of depression.
Yes.
I think it's beautiful that you're utilizing a negative and transforming it into a positive. I think it's also beautiful that you're traveling down different avenues of creativity and see what you're capable of. I think that also breaks down the foundation blocks of depression is you seeing just how amazing you are as a person. So I just want to make sure that we stay connected as creatives after this Zoom meeting.
Yes.
I agree.
This is the whole point. I did just put her IG in the chat, so if you all can follow her, please. Any more questions? I have a question. So when you start drawing, do you usually have an idea what you're going to draw? Because I heard you say you don't really care for when people tell you. Do you already have an idea of what you're going to draw, or you kind of just sit there with a piece of paper and you're just like, okay, what am I going to draw? And you just start sketching and it comes out to something. That's something my brother used to do. That's why I asked.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I have an idea. So I don't like to do, a lot of artists do the thumbnails. So they sketch before I can't do that.
No.
No, so I like to, I have the idea and then I'll draw it. But the thing with commissions, if I was doing a commission, I'd have to actually do those thumbnails and sketch it out and then show. So
so you
I think that's a challenge. That's when I do it.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? All right, let's give her a round of applause again, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Princess Diana. Wave too. But well, thank you so much, Nikki. That was awesome.
Thank you.
I gotta check out some more of your work.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. We're gonna keep it going because it's already 7:27 and it's a Friday night, guys, and we're having a good time. Good time. Who is next? Lindsay.
Hi.
Lindsay, are you here?
I am here.
Hey, girl. You
What's
ready?
going on? I think I'm ready. A little nervous, but I think I'm ready.
You got this. You see, we're all getting through it. Let's do it.
Okay. Well, I'm Lindsay. I'm the artist behind Vida's Raw. You guys can follow me on IG at Vida's Raw. Just want to show you guys my studio that I recently just put together. It's been in the works for a little bit. But this is kind of where I create, where I spend most of my days, especially on days off. Just a few of my paintings, whole bunch of paintings. These are like literally paintings that I've collected since like 2012 or 13. So just a whole bunch of work, just kind of my studio space. And this is just pretty much where I let loose, get creative. A lot of my process does involve a few little tokes here and there. I am an artist, so I do like to express myself and let loose. A lot of the times when I'm painting, I paint artists. So I don't know if you guys seen it, but it's my husband, J. Cole. He's not done. But I do paint a lot of artists. I tend to listen to their music. If it's some, if they're a musical artist, I have Nina Simone over here. Painted her, listened to her while I was painting her. And I also have Erykah Badu. I do like to do a lot of like portraits, but a lot at the same time, it's very abstract, I guess. So yeah, that's my studio. This is where I be most days. When I paint portraits, a lot of the time I'm not using like real skin tone. I use vibrant colors, and I can't help it for the life of me. When I was at Massasoit and I was taking painting classes, we had to do like a micro, I don't remember what it's called, but it was just like a set tone. Like you only had to use pink, and that was the only thing that you were going to use for the painting, and you just had to use different shades of that one color. And that was like the hardest challenge for me, especially when we had to do black and white only. Like that gave me a lot of anxiety. That gives me a lot of anxiety. I'm a very vibrant person, so it's very hard for me to like, thank you, yes, monochrome, thank you. So it's very hard for me to like not use a lot of colors. So yeah, that's pretty much me. This is where I am most days. If you guys have any questions, I'm open to questions.
Lindsay, I'm gonna need you to zoom up like on your painting so we can really like see.
Oh, you want to? Okay.
Yeah, we want to see.
Okay, I'm sorry.
PR it, but
All right, my bad.
No, go ahead.
All right. Oh, zoom in. You want to look in?
All up in the eyeball. Look at this.
But I love me some eyes.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you guys. When I first started painting, I hated doing noses. That was like my pet peeve.
It seems like
I tried telling just a bit. When I was telling my art teacher about it, he told me like, oh, I mean, if you're doing it for like inspirational purposes, you can do it. But other than that, you have to paint noses. And like one day in class for like 2 hours, he had me paint noses.
Oh.
And I hated my life that day.
Oh. But now look at you.
I know, right? This one I actually like wove into it, like wove in the beads.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, feel free to unmute yourself if you have questions. We can ask questions during this.
Oh, okay, but
I'm like, I don't know how to read the questions. Hold on.
When did you start painting?
Honestly, I didn't start painting like seriously until 2012 when I took my first painting one class at Massasoit. That's when I really started painting. I tried doing it at Brockton High when I was there, but my thing at that time was photography. So I was in the dark room a lot of the time.
Yes.
Instead of painting.
Do you ever get hung up on like realism versus your own kind of perspective on the human form? I find that I often get caught up in wanting to create a realistic type of portrait so that it's received easily sometimes,
I find like I try, but at the same time, like I know my style is very, very abstract. So for me to achieve that is like pulling my hair out and
right on.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't want to do that. I like my hair in my head.
I dig it. I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
This one, thank you. This one is actually Saul Williams. I don't know if you guys have heard of him.
Yes, I love him.
Yep. So I watched, so a lot of my inspiration comes from like movies and documentaries and stuff. So we watched Slam in my English class, and after watching that, I was like, oh, I gotta paint this man. Like, he's just so good. He's just so good with his words and everything.
Is that, do you use mixed media? That looks like some spray paint.
Yep, so I use spray paint. I try to incorporate a lot of texture in my paintings as well. So I use glass bead gel. I go through these a lot. And then I also use, clear leveling gel. So it just kind of helps me get like a little bit more textures, because when I paint, I don't usually use a lot of paint on the brush. So it kind of just like helps me get that look that I'm trying to achieve.
Lindsay.
Yes.
Said, I love your art style. Abstract art is a challenge for me. How do you blend the colors so flawlessly?
To be honest with you, that took me a long time to learn. And it was just kind of like, I don't know, like just putting one color on top of another color on top of another color and making sure I'm seeing everything as a whole versus just focusing in on one specific thing. I've noticed that when I did that, it was a little bit more harder for me to blend things and like get things actually going.
Do you ever play around with triptychs?
With what was it?
Triptychs, where you take like a picture, you cut it into 3 pieces, and you try to make individual pictures that then are cohesive.
Oh no, I actually never tried that. That sounds like a lot of fun though.
Yeah, I'm down to do
that sounds like a lot of fun. I've never done that. A lot of the time when I'm painting, I don't actually have like a palette thing where I apply my paint. This is like an old shoebox top, and I just put plastic wrap over it, and this is what I use.
Shout out Steve Madden.
Word.
So what does your setup look like when you're about to start? Like, do you have an easel, or are you on the floor?
So I have an easel now, depending on the size of the painting. So J. Cole, I have him hung on this side of the room, but when I start him and I actually paint him, we're painting right here.
Yeah.
We are painting right here. And this is my first time using stretch just like canvas like this without it actually being stretched on a board. So I don't know if there's a specific way to do this. So if you guys have any pointers for your girl, let me know.
Yeah, what I usually use is plastic wrap, and you get a hair dryer, and if you hair dry it to the wall, it'll help.
Really? Okay. See, I didn't know that. I was like, I know I'm not doing this right, but it's gonna work.
No, if you spray your draft area with some hairspray and get some plastic wrap like you do with your shoebox cover, and use a hair dryer and just dry it onto the wall, and then put your tapestry over it, it should save the wall some.
Oh, see, I don't mind the wall too much. I'll just paint over it again. But like, that's good to know.
I just moved to my own studio, and I'm trying to set up my drafting space, so I fully understand. Yeah. Dude, I'd love to create with you one day.
I'm down for collabs.
We gotta get Nikki up on this too.
Yep.
Hold on, let me put Vitus. I want to make sure I spell it right. I'm just putting her Instagram in the chat so you guys can follow, link, work together, whatever you all. For artists. Sorry guys, I have to look for because I don't want to mess this up. Okay, see, I was going to mess it up. I was going to put an S at the end. So glad I looked. All right, so that's her Instagram right there. Did you want to share any other platforms or anything, or?
No, my IG's cool. That's the main one where I put most of my art.
Okay. Wow, let's give her a clap, guys. Clap, clap, clap. Clap. So unfortunately, guys, we're approaching our last creative artist, singer. That's what she is. I want to thank Lindsay for showing us your art. But we got to move on to the last artist. Can you believe it, guys? It's been a fun evening for a Friday night. What do you all think? Are you all enjoying this? I want to hear it. I don't want to read it. I want to hear you guys.
I'm having a wonderful time.
See?
This is amazing.
Amazing. Okay.
I'm learning so much.
Look at. All right.
Yo, Eva.
Word! You got a whole setup over there.
She has a whole setup with her name in the back. Did anyone see that? Oh,
Eva got her whole, like, yo, you look like you're on set. You ready? Lights, camera,
Fancy.
action.
right.
She said, you come ready, you ain't got to get ready. 15 minutes.
Right.
Guys, I appreciate it. This
Well,
has been so fun.
without further ado, let's welcome Eva. She's about to end this for us. Hi,
Thank you so
Eva.
much. Hi, Kyaunna. Thank you for doing this. This is
Well, thank you
amazing.
for coming and being here.
I'm really grateful. You know, it's important. Like, it's really weird that our events have transitioned to Zoom. Super weird. But I feel like with Zoom we can definitely be more right. Yeah.
Right.
But like, you know, we can be. It's almost like we can connect easier because we're able to just like read each other's comments right then and there, connect face to face right here. So I feel like a lot of connections can be made in this time that wouldn't have otherwise been made. So, you know, taking advantage of that through Zoom events is really amazing. And I'm just grateful to you for doing this because this has inspired a lot for me. I see, you know, all these people that have joined that are inspired by it, and many others who wanted to and who are just inspired just by seeing these flyers and knowing that things are happening and people are still doing stuff. So that means a lot to me as someone who, you know, is constantly trying to attend events as well as performing for lots of events, putting on a lot of events. So yeah, and we met through Good Music Showcase. So shout out to DJ Alcide and Good Music Showcase and everybody with that.
Yes, we did. He actually was just here. He just stepped out, but I was gonna let him come over and say hi, but he's gone. But shout out to him. Shout out to Good Music. Shout out to you. We thank you. I thank you so much for your talent. I can't wait for you to sing right now. Like, you all about to be blown away. If you haven't heard her already, you all about to be blown away. And this setup right now, oh my goodness. Like, I'm over here like taking pictures on my phone, like, hold up. Eva done did it all. I took pictures of all of us guys, but this one,
I definitely
her name.
shot you like a creep. My bad.
Yeah, right. I do come off like a creep. I'm like, shoot, hey, she got creative.
Thank you.
Foreign creatives.
That's a whole Pinterest room if there ever was one.
My space. So.
Yeah.
Let me perform something for you guys, and then I'll just talk a little bit about like how I got into music and what I do and stuff.
Okay.
So get some music.
We're ready.
How's the level?
Sounds good. It's me.
Wake up, baby girl, it's almost noon. Yeah, you've been lying there stressing about a pain that ain't yours to prove, right? So throw the blankets on the floor, stretch your body. So I pick your head and neck and back up, both feet on the floor. Stand up tall and straight, striving to your day. Cry or smile if you need, but you gon' be okay. Life is full of ups and downs. Don't let nothing bring you underground. You built to handle it, hey. So handle it. Say manage it, oh handle it. You may be feeling out of place. Remember, you control your own headspace. You built to handle it, hey. So handle it. Say manage it, oh handle it. Don't quit, stand up. Been foolish trying to win a war that's only happening in your head, 'cause no one around knows what you're fighting for. Yeah. Said you can sit and write a song, schedule your day, move on, set yourself up for success. I know you're brilliant and strong. Treat your body right, healthy meals and sleep at night. Focus on heart, mind, and soul, and you gon' be alright. Life is full of ups and downs. Don't let nothing bring you underground. You built to handle it, hey. So handle it. Say manage it, or handle it. You may be feeling out of place. Remember, you control your own headspace. You built to handle it, so handle it. Say manage it, or handle it. Baby girl, you know what life you're giving. Can't choose your cause and can't write what isn't. Dangling in the stars, but see you like dismissing. Take a break and pause, have right intentions. You're emotional, you made the right decision. Keep your focus, you'll go ahead and write your vision. No one moments you'll feel like your life is in it. Take control and those will be a slight remembrance. Travel to the point where you don't even see nobody. You could do it on your own. Don't even need them probably. Everything becomes a blur. Relax and free your body. Always put yourself first. Tell the weak they need a hobby. Make them a believer, Ollie, and defeat the foggy thoughts that running through your brain. Change your alchemy department. Life gets hard, but you manage it. And when it gets off track, you can. Life is full of ups and downs. Don't let nothing bring you underground. You built to handle it, so handle it. Say manage it, or handle it. You may be feeling out of place. Remember, you control your own headspace. You built to handle it, so handle it. Say manage it, or handle it. Yeah. Thank you guys. I saw someone ask about my music. So that was from my album, Letters to Self. It's out on all streaming platforms, and I have physical copies I just added to my store. I just put a store online yesterday or the day before. So I'll just let this play in the background as I go. But yeah, my name's Eva Davenport. I'm really happy to be here, and I love what I do with like super enthusiasm and passion. And those are just the most important things to me in the world. I feel like everybody just needs to find what they're most passionate about and what is meant for them, and just grab a hold and don't let go and do whatever you're meant to do. You know, like there's a lot of different paths that we take, especially as creatives. So I feel like that's just so much fun to enjoy many different facets of things, enjoy everything that y'all have been explaining about what you guys do. So let me turn this down a little bit. I'm about to just like start dancing. Yeah, so my name is Eva Davenport. I am a singer, songwriter, artist. I performed in different places all over New England. I performed in California. I have been, let me not get into that yet. I also do event curating. I started that in June of 2019, this summer. I started in June, and I started with my showcase called Arts Underground, an all arts showcase, showcasing everything from photography to visual art to henna and this was all centered around a music showcase. So I just wanted to include all these different facets of art, and kind of like we're doing right now. So that continued, and I started booking for the Jungle in Somerville. So I've officially been a booking agent for them since October, or a month before then. So that's been a really, really fun journey, being able to book for the Jungle and putting on free events for the community. Sometimes we charge for the events, but most of the time they're free. And I'm able to give artists, creatives, event curators the opportunity to use a free space, the Jungle, which is an amazing space. They have a great stage, lighting, sound system. Everything's really nice there. Amazing people that are owners of the place, and everybody that works there is wonderful and just really wants to give to the community. So I've just been finding the most rewarding work in those who just want to have that same mindset as I do, of just wanting to give back and be who they are, be truthful to themselves, you know, be good to other people. So like doing things like this, doing events for people who have curated their own events, those have been really the most rewarding parts of my career so far. Yeah, so I got started with music from
a really early age. My mom sang actually when she was pregnant with me. She sang in reggae bands and toured and performed. So I just always felt like it was a part of me. I knew it was always a part of me, music was. And as I've grown up, I've learned that not only is music my passion, but also making other people aware of their passions and just like sharing my love of passion with other people to invoke that in them. So those are my two real loves of my life, invoking passion and being passionate about what I do and doing music. I released my EP, Letters to Self, in August last year. So this was definitely my biggest accomplishment so far. I released a single before this. It's called Bang Bang, and it's out on all streaming platforms, on YouTube. This one is on all streaming platforms as well, but I don't have a music video necessarily for this yet. I do have a video with the High Like This song, and it's a recap video of my release party, which was August 30th at the Mad Music Mill, an amazing venue. They put on dope events there, also locally owned. And I had an incredible time. The video is so cool. I've gotten to work with, specifically Red Shades is on this album, and I was actually rapping her verse in that song, Handle It. I'm still working out the kinks of it. It's such a fast, like, flow. That rhythm, that rap that she wrote is so fast, but I'm working on it, and I just really love trying it out every time. She's an amazing artist, and she's the only feature that I had on my album because I was really inspired, truly the most inspired to actually release an EP by going to Red Shade's EP release show. That was, I was looking at my calendars the other day. I can't remember when it was actually, but it was for her Chillin' in the Shade EP, and I learned so much from going to that event. I was so inspired that I basically put all these ideas I had for the longest time, all these songs, all these things I wanted to do, I just put them into action. I said, I can do this too. Like I can make an EP too. I can release it. I can have a physical CD. I can have t-shirts. So these are my t-shirts. They say you built to handle it on the back, because I felt like if I'm gonna make a t-shirt, I want to put something inspiring on it. And you know, that's a quote from my track. So yeah, I have t-shirts and CDs now. I got started by asking for voice lessons when I was 8. I started with classical voice lessons and did chorus and talent shows and everything I could do in elementary and middle school to get into more, to sing more. I just wanted to sing as much as I possibly could and perform. I wanted to perform. I tried out for musical theater stuff. I didn't really get into that stuff. I think I didn't get any leads, and at the time I didn't want to do like the smaller parts, so I didn't get into musical theater, but I always did talent shows. And I started singing with a girl group in high school, and we wrote all our own original music and we performed. I got tons of performing experience with them because they were connected with Jeffrey Osborne. And so we performed for the Jeffrey Osborne Celebrity Golf Tournament, and I met some cool, famous people and performed for them and did a lot of things when I was in high school, and went to Berklee College of Music for a couple of years and started performing.
Does she know she's frozen?
Hey guys. My phone died, so I'm gonna use my laptop. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Cool.
I can hear you.
Yeah, so I went to Berklee for a few years and started performing with some cover bands around Boston. I actually started with a 70s funk and disco band called Booty Vortex, and I still perform with them to this day. I started with them when I was 19, and I'm 23 now. So that was the first band that I actually worked with, the first professional band, and they really took me under their wing. I definitely wasn't ready to be like on stage performing with a full band at that time. So they definitely took me under their wing and taught, and I learned a lot from that. 70s disco funk music is like school for vocalists. Like that music is crazy. So it was so much fun to learn like Shaka Khan and just all these amazing artists, Prince, and like it was incredible, and perform with a band with like a full horn section and percussion and drums and bass and guitar, and like so that was the beginning of me performing with bands. And I started working with a wedding band and different cover bands. And finally in 2017, I started a band with a group of friends. And when that ended, because it's hard to work with bands, like, especially when you're doing original music and you're starting it yourself, working with professional bands is a lot easier because they're already well established. You're doing covers. You don't have to, create and you don't have to book things because there's somebody higher up that's taking care of all that for you. So you get paid good. You don't have to, worry about any of the logistics of things. You just show up, you sing, and you're done. But with, creating this band, writing our own songs, there was a lot of work to be done, and everybody wasn't pulling their weight. So we just didn't work out as a band, and I just kept booking gigs and started performing by myself. The first one I performed actually was supposed to be my band, and things just didn't work out, so I ended up doing it myself. And that was how I basically got into performing as a solo artist. I had done a lot of open mics before then, and sang professionally, but I got into performing by myself from just starting booking events, and from knowing how to book and knowing how to communicate with venues and booking agents and people like that, and really get my foot in the door. I have just been able to get a lot of really awesome opportunities and perform for amazing things, and connect with incredible artists that I admire. And that's what means the most to me, honestly. Like with this artistry thing, people can aim for the sky, and they want to be famous, or they want to reach this level of success, or want to be well known, or whatever the case is. But I find the most happiness in connecting with somebody who loves what they're doing, and being able to, loving what I'm doing too. Like I found the most happiness in putting on events and having all my friends there, having the most amazing time, and all these people there who I admire performing for the event, or doing photography for the event, or doing like henna for the event, having all these cool, amazing, like inspiring, talented people around, and just creating community. So that has been the best part of my experience as an artist, and I just want to continue to do that some more. I'm going to be bringing back my Arts Underground showcase. I just reached out to everybody who had performed for it in the past. So the last one we did was in October, and I took a break, and little did I know the break would be going for longer than I expected, but we're going to bring it back Zoom style. So I'm going to figure that out, make that plan. If anyone here would want to be a part of it, it's going to be an all arts showcase on Zoom, and I'm going to figure out the logistics of it. But thank you so much, Kyaunna, for inspiring me with this. And y'all are all amazing.
Being here, this was awesome. Wow.
Thank you. Yes.
And it was great to hear your story too. Never knew.
Same.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Loved it. Love your voice.
Thank you.
Somebody asked, what are you working on now? I know you just said, the whole art thing, but as far as music, do you have another song you're working on right now?
Yes, my auntie. Shout out to my auntie. I love you. Thanks for tuning in. I'm working on myself. I have been like,
You know, every day is just different. Anytime somebody asks me, how are you doing? I'm like, every day is different. Like,
No, I hear you.
Definitely.
yeah, I'm just trying to like center and like feel good in my space. Like doing this today, I just moved around things in my room and made this cute little space, and like everybody liked it, and that made me feel so good. Like just like putting this together and sitting in this little spot made me feel really good. So I'm trying to like do things to make myself feel better. I pulled out my microphone the other day and set up my little setup so I can start recording stuff again, and I'm gonna figure that whole thing out on my computer. So I want to start recording demos in my room. I'm probably going to be upgrading my equipment soon so I can record really good mixes and then send it out to be, you know, officially mixed and release some stuff, because like I'm not trying to be held up by this. So
I hear you.
yeah.
Okay, that's great to hear. And where can they purchase your t-shirts online if that's possible?
Yes, so you can purchase my t-shirts and CDs on my website, evadavenportmusic.com.
Eva, hold on.
It's under the store tab.
Oh.
Yeah, there's some cute stuff on there. I love doing everything myself. I put together my website myself. It was easy though. I used Wix. So if you guys are looking to make a website,
That's what it
Wix.
is.
I love Wix.
So good.
So
Yeah.
you said evadavenport.com? What was it?
Eva Davenport Music.
Oh, music.
Yes.
I love your voice. Amazing.
Thank
Absolutely
you.
amazing.
Bless you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so if anyone has questions, feel free to jump in now for Eva. Anybody?
You give me like Kehlani vibes a little bit. I love it.
I could see that. I see what you.
That's a huge compliment. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I love her. Can't wait to listen to her new album. Everybody's releasing music right now, guys, by the way. Like,
I'm excited.
I know.
Right.
Like something to do.
Seriously.
Anybody else have anything to say right now?
I have a question for you.
Yes, please.
So I already downloaded all your music on Apple Music because your voice was like
Selena's top
crazy.
Hashtag support artists. I love that. Yes.
But I have a question. So, like, I know probably a lot of the other visual artists have the same issue. When we do time lapses and videos and stuff, we can't use mainstream music because it gets flagged or whatever. Is that something you'd be open to us using, like your music and backgrounds of like art videos or anything? Because I would love, and I mean, obviously I'd pay you for it, but I would just love to use your music.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for asking me. I would love to be a part of things that just correlate with me, basically. So I just want to see it first, you know, feel it out and make sure that it's something that vibes good with me. I'm sure it would, but I just, you know, that's important. But thank you so much for asking me that. Yes, that would be super fun. I had one of my songs actually in a commercial for like beard oil or some, it was like men's like products, so that was pretty cool. It wasn't like on brand, but you know, like it was positive, like that's the kind of things I'm looking for, like uplifting positive stuff. So that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no, definitely. Your voice is like literally sex. Like it's amazing.
Yes.
Who's that? Oh, Duffy, you gotta go.
Yeah, I gotta go. I got some grandma duties I gotta do. So
well, I do want to mention, because I noticed you put your handle in the chat. Studio 90, that is Duffy. She also is a fellow photographer. If you want to follow her too, and anybody else who wants to put their IG in that just came on, let's network, okay? Let's do it now, because we're about to wrap it up now. Duffy, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for including me. I got all the IGs for everybody that came from Chosen and everybody after her. So if there's anybody prior to that, let me know, because I'd definitely like to network and get everybody
I got you.
everybody's Instagram. Okay.
Yep, I got you.
Who was it? Nikki and the other, what's her name?
Lindsay?
I'm gonna find you. Hold on. Where are you? Nikki and Lindsay, I'm coming for y'all.
I just followed you.
I'll be here waiting.
I'm
No, I was
coming for
following
y'all.
Lindsay.
All right. Bye, everybody. Nice to meet you. Peace and love.
Bye.
Bye.
And unfortunately, this was so much fun. Oh my goodness.
so
Like, you
fun.
guys don't understand. Like, I tried it out. I was just like, let's do it. And I feel like it came out so amazing, like, for our first time and with our situation. Zoom, you held us down.
did.
Shout out to Zoom.
Oh, thank you guys so
It was
much. I
amazing.
want to shout out my auntie for being here and my
Hey,
girl
Auntie.
Bailey and my boyfriend. Thank you guys for
boyfriend.
tuning in.
Oh.
Everybody for like being here and making this happen. This is so special. We really need this. So
Right.
so,
Yeah, and this was, we got to keep it going. Actually, Barbette, are you still here? I see you. I don't know if that's you.
Yes, I am still here.
Can you talk about Massive Media real quick, since you just put the handle?
Oh, I just put in the hand. I didn't want to.
I know, but I asked you, so yeah, do it.
All right, hold on. I gotta find a new angle. I lost the sunlight, so I gotta find a new angle.
You're good.
All right, so very quickly, just because I know we've been here for a long time. My name is Barbette Jocelyn. I am the CEO of Massive Media. Massive Media is a multimedia company that is geared towards empowering the individual, the organization, the creative through multimedia means, right? So a lot of you here that have spoken, I'm familiar with. Some I've worked with, some I just really share with. So for example, I've worked with Jarena before. One of my guys have done videos for Jarena, which was like dope. I think there was like this makeup shop or like beauty shop that we did like a commercial for, and it came out like amazing. I've worked with K Freezy Fresh, obviously. You know, I've done background, you know, behind the scenes for her. I worked with Chosen. Chosen's been amazing. So the funny thing is, right, so Ava, right, I've never actually met you, but my page follows you and we share your content like all the time. So I was already hip to your music before this entire situation, which was like really dope. So it was like great to kind of like put a face to the artist, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
crazy talented. But yes, so Massive Media, when you think multimedia, we do every type of media you can think of. So that means photography, videography, graphic design, the works. And we're very open. We've done random things. So we've done things from like doing a video for the Federal Reserve to doing a music video to designing a box package for somebody to put their, you know, items in Walmart. Like we've done so much things and it's just been honestly a blessing. We just hit a year in March, which was amazing. But unfortunately, we couldn't celebrate because of the coronavirus. So that was a thing. But I definitely want to reach out to everybody because I am looking towards after this, because what I saw today was a bunch of powerful, beautiful, talented, intelligent individuals. And I feel like we need to focus more on spreading the word about what we have here, because this is like fairly local. I'm pretty sure everybody here is from Massachusetts. So we need to focus on what we have here and building each other up and moving forward in that sense, and really pushing each other's content or creating collaborative content. So I'm definitely going to be reaching out to everybody here about working together, whether it be through events, me recording you, interviewing you, etc. I'm definitely looking forward to that. But I know I can ramble on, so I'm just going to stop talking right now. If you have any questions, though, I am willing to answer any questions that you guys have about that.
Anybody have any questions? Oh. No, they don't, but you got all of our handles. We look forward to working with you, I'm sure, right?
I'm going to be following you
Everybody
guys on the personal and business.
unmute yourself if you wanted to say something. You were muted, by the way, if you did. But thank you, Barbette. I just wanted you to jump in. You were still here. He was on at 5 o'clock with us, guys, like all the way through. Like that shows some really deep support right there, and I appreciate it. And all it did, I shared this with you on Snap. That's all I did. Shared it with him on Snap, and look it, he was supporting us. First one, appreciate it. Does anybody else have anything to say before we end this? There's so much I could say right now, but I just don't want to hold you guys anymore. It's 8:08, and this has been a fun night. I'm on like a high from just this event. Like I'm gonna sleep good tonight. Like I think I'm gonna get some sleep in this quarantine. Like like I feel good. Like I thank you, every last one of you, for being here, whether you presented or not, and that you're still here. I thank you, thank you, thank you.
We thank you for putting this together.
Oh, thank you. No problem. But I know it's not going to be the last time that we see each other. But I hope everyone does well during this time. Stay focused, stay positive. We're going to get through this. I swear 2020 is just testing our strength. That's what I say to everybody. It's just testing our strength.
Right.
But we're going to get through. And just keep telling yourself, you're going to get through. Because we are. What else can we have no other choice. You know what I mean? So let's just keep pushing, keep being creative. We stay busy in our creative world. Let's just keep doing that just to stay focused, sane, whatever. And I know that we have each other, if anything. We're one click away, right?
Exactly.
You know?
I just want to say one thing, just a moment of transparency. In times like this, especially because nobody's familiar with this, nobody's had to be on lockdown in their house. It's very easy to go into dark places. It's very easy to like get discouraged because you probably had to cancel some few things. Plans had to change. You had to really adjust with the time. But just remember that only shows your resilience. And though we aren't able to like spend time with each other or see each other or hug each other, we still have this opportunity to lean on each other with events like this. So, Kyaunna, this is honestly a huge thank you for putting this together, because this really gave us an opportunity to stay connected and, again, just lean on each other in these very, very dark times.
You are very welcome. I appreciate you all very much. You just don't understand. But I'm just going to say we're going to have a good night. I don't want to go, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
I will see you all. And everyone, if you have events coming up, I know Eva has mentioned something. Like, if you have events, like, share it, tag me, you know, because I'm on social media, but I'm not as social media savvy as much as you guys are. But just tag me so I can see it, because I won't catch it. I don't scroll as much. You know, I'm learning during my quarantine how to use social media and marketing. I'm taking advantage of this time is what I'm trying to say. And I just, you know, if you can, thank you, Eva, for sharing. That's her, the Arts Underground. That's our art space that she was talking about, that we can display our art and things like that, and whatever other shows she might got going on. So follow that page too. But yes, if you guys can do that, tag me so I can stay afloat. Up, there goes Chosen. All right, yep, take all these down. I follow everybody on here. Let me just give you all some time. Take it down, because they just put it in the chat. Take down their IGs. And yeah, and I want everyone to have a great night. Stay blessed.
You too.
And let's keep inspiring each other.
Good night.
All right.
Everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
See ya.